be 100 years of activities between each show, you know, each weekly show. But here we are. It's been another billion years, 1,000 galaxies created and destroyed or whatever in the meantime. And of course, the latest is a lot of people are screaming and crying about the consulate in Pakistan, where we basically almost had another Benghazi. But instead, when they began shooting, as is in the most popular video out there, you can just see a dude with a pistol shooting into the consulate. Now, to be fair, there is some amount of time before the video begins, and the video does begin with shooting coming from the consulate, but fire is returned. And then in that same video, as it's panning around, you can see an AK on the ground. You can also see a lot of
there's also a guy with a shotgun who's standing there. There's
yeah. So
the guy who fires a pistol.
yeah, it wasn't just a simple, we're not going to take it kind of protest. There was they're going to take it with force kind of protest, and so you can't do that.
I think calling it almost Benghazi. That's probably.
I mean, that's not really hyperbole. We very nearly had a Benghazi incident, and you can't do that. That's just not something that we can allow. We've already seen what happens every time that happens. So as of reporting, there's 22 dead and I believe 10 or more injured as they were attacking.
Sounds like they should have not fucking done that and stayed home and safe and alive.
And again, note, I'm not saying protesting, because if that's all that happened, I can assure you there would not have been any shots fired. Because
we don't do that.
yeah, there's these whole rules of engagement thing. So, yet again, the footage tells a bit of a different story than what we're being told, I guess, through the many and varied media sources. Let me see. Man, everything is all super, super biased, so I'll just go with the newest one, which is the Sun Sentinel. So we'll use that as our source here, because they're all just, the devil America killed the innocent Pakistanis, and they've got a crying guy on the front who's inconsolable and such. So
look,
whatever.
Dude, bro, you gotta give up your borders and shit, because we have the innocent rioter who tried to kill people with his gun get shot in the head.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. I
don't fucking think so.
You just can't do those sort of things.
I think, like all embassy spaces, all consulates, the territory they sit on is the territory of the nation they represent. That is the treaty that is signed.
Mm-hmm.
So you come onto our soil shooting at us, we will fucking kill you.
Yep. And that's kind of the way it always was up until relatively recently, and people got really used to that relatively recently kind of mindset.
I mean, if we stormed in to, say, the Chinese consulate when they were shredding all those documents and decided to just preserve documents there, they'd be righteously pissed with us for a good reason, because we would have been on their soil, which we had given to them.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to do that.
It is the way things work in the world. And speaking of which, too, we're seeing a very different approach to. Well, I don't want to say international diplomacy, because what we're seeing isn't really in any way diplomatic. Sort of.
The guy declared war on us, and we said, okay, let's talk, all the way up until a point where we said, okay, we're done talking.
And
That's what I
just a
thought
quick
to it.
one on that. I've heard conflicting reports that the talks were just a way of getting them to give time for everything to be put into place to do the attack, which maybe. I've also heard reports that there were genuine attempts, and from what I can see,
Well, yeah.
it looks like at least in the initial, maybe not up till Friday, but at least in the early part of the week, there was still a chance that this thing could be resolved. But I think
Hmm.
when things didn't go well Friday, they didn't go poorly, but there was no advancement. It was
Well,
just kind of the same standard stalemate that
Khomeini made a
everyone's
very
been
clear
dealing
statement
with.
on
Kind of,
X,
yeah,
and that was, the U.S. wants to negotiate with us regarding a nuclear energy. If their position is that we can't have nukes, then our answer is no, which was basically what they told us a little more formally. And the fact is, nuclear energy was never their goal, and that's unfortunate for them. Their stated usage for nuclear weapons is to immediately fire them as soon as they're capable at us, the United States.
and to be fair, now for what it's worth, attach whatever value you like. But Khomeini did put out a fatwa on nuclear weapons, and the new guy that's in has made a completely opposite declaration. So he will probably, well, back to the point I was making, is that what we're seeing now in the world is a more Roman style of, call it diplomacy, if you like. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if that's quite the right word because it's again far from diplomatic. But you go in there and you say, "Hey, look, you're gonna fix these problems, or the next guy is gonna fix the problems. Capiche?" And they'll. It seems like in Venezuela, it was able to be okay. Got it, fam. We good?
I mean, we basically
Okay.
said, look, we're going to enrich you guys in the to the best that we are capable, and bring you back the society that you eschewed by cutting off your legs and then crawling as far as you could on your stubs. Like, come back and say, look, we're gonna put you on your feet again. We're gonna get you running. We're gonna get your whole country back to where it was. People who live there now have living memory of how great it was. The same kind of thing is true in Iran and in the diaspora. They remember how great Iran was, and the fact that this is happening within their lifetime is pretty fucking significant for them.
Well, that's true. Now in Iran, it's a much longer timeline, but by that
Yeah,
same notion, we have video. We can look at
you
programs
can see them from the 70s,
that you can.
early
That you
70s.
can. You can see color
You can see the
video
rise
of
of
what
Marxism.
Iran was like when it was Zoroastrian, which it was
Yep.
for forever, right up
And it
until
seems like it will be again.
I
So
genuinely hope so
and bear
because
in mind, about a third of the population there identifies as Muslim, and the majority of them don't identify as wanting to be Muslim. Those who are like 80 odd percent of the country wants regime change, and this is basically their best chance. Um, and it's being given to them. He's the messaging from our current admin has basically been, look, we are willing, police and military there who have been holding people down. This is your time for amnesty. You can make a deal now, or better yet, you can join the people who are trying to overthrow the current government, and you will be given a pass. You can lay down your arms now, or you can basically be pounded into sand.
and there is a little bit of a parallel here to what we were just
Mm-hmm.
discussing
Yep.
immediately at the start of the show, which is, yeah, okay, we are coming in with guns and making demands. But the difference here is that, you've got, well, let's say what we saw was what we can account for. So a guy with a shotgun, a guy with a pistol, and somebody with an AK. Well, when you're going into a place with inadequate equipment, you might find yourself inadequately prepared. And no matter how I might feel on a personal level about this international adventurism, which I've made clear many times, I shouldn't have to do it again, but, it is what it is. Anyway, we are.
You're not
here.
the only one who's reticent and uncomfortable with it. I don't mean uncomfortable in like an ew, give me the ick kind of sense. Like
this.
There are people I talk to who say this isn't what I voted for,
that is correct,
and I understand that.
But
I think we're responding to an existential threat against our country, the United States.
I don't agree, but it is what it is, and here we are.
Right.
So we have to be adults and deal with things in an adult fashion, unlike a lot of others. So anyway, on that point, it seems to have handled itself and worked out properly in Venezuela. Now we are dealing with something that is significantly larger, significantly more entrenched, literally and figuratively, and much harder.
We started pounding their. So here's the deal with it: they have their idea of defense has been to distribute and embed their resources. We have been hitting them at their sites that are kind of off grid, small town off grid kind of sites that are not in the direct network of their major cities. Like, so they got pounded, they got hit basically in the majority of places. They got stockpiles and resources kind of at once, and so they're going to get off a couple rounds, but they're not going to have a whole lot to reload with.
Now, by that same notion, we also are running on a kind of a limited magazine, so there's only so long we can keep this up as well.
Well,
now, for what
Trump
it's worth,
has 60 days to resolve this, or Congress is going to tell him to stop it. That's basically what it boils down to.
True.
And he has limited resources he's allowed to use. Period. Doesn't matter if they exist or not. He's not allowed to use large-scale military intervention.
Yeah, there's.
The fact that this is not considered large-scale military intervention.
Well, and honestly, let me just pause you directly on that and dig into it, because it's a point worth making. There's been a lot of people that are saying this is illegal on both sides. It is not. I don't like it. I don't support it, but he is within his rights. This is all airstrikes, and those are fully divvied out to the president. This was decided back in the Clinton era. Sorry, I don't like it. That's just the way it is. He has that power. This is not considered war. If he wants to put any boots on the ground, a single one, well, that changes things.
True, but again, large scale.
Let me make just a quick reminder on that. This very same notion is what allowed Biden's fuckery with that fucking bullshit pier that got washed away in the ocean next door to Gaza. There's no boots on the ground. It's just a bridge out to a place where some boats can land. Well, again, maybe that one's super fucking sus, but whatever. We'll give it to him.
No, I'll make another point on this. Mercenary troops, if memory serves, do not count as boots on the ground either.
Well, that wasn't mercenary troops. That was actually...
I was going to say, it includes things like construction labor, etc.
Oh, yeah. So, but I mean, in this case, it was actually all, government workers. Or not government workers, but I don't know if it was Navy or if it was... I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's of no consequence.
The floated in pier was That was such a fucking
But it
joke.
was done under the same auspices as this, and all of that one's on certainly much flimsier grounds, literally and figuratively. It's the same thing. They're not
All right,
actually going on the ground. They're not
say
actually
hi to
interviewing, whatever.
Sarge. Sarge is listening.
Howdy ho.
He comes in and he says it's about 20 seconds after start listening. The same notion is what allowed Biden's fucking.
Yeah, fair.
Yep. Welcome to the podcast, buddy.
Yeah, sure enough. So, anyway, well, that's what it is. When you're looking at Iran and what is being done there, again, it is within his legal rights. So, like it or not, he can kind of bomb the shit out of basically anybody for a couple of days, and he can just do that as long as it's not one of our allies, and there is some at least passable reason.
Yeah.
In this case, fair enough. Our ally, our worst fucking ally, asked us to help him out with something that is annoying to us, and to be fair, is an existential threat to them. So
let's also consider the fact that Khamenei has declared war on the United States again.
Sure, but
look,
beyond that,
there's only so many times you can say, "I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you," before you should expect someone to just start punching back.
True.
Right.
And
if you say, "We're declaring war," and our holy war is going to cleanse your continent of your kind, you should probably have a plan if someone says, "Okay, bet," and shows up.
That is a valid point.
Now,
But now something else that needs some clarification that hasn't been in the last few days and is getting a lot of airplay also on both sides. And absolute tragedy. Period. End of story. There was a school that got hit with. I'm not sure exactly what the specific munition that hit it was. I'll get to that in a second. But a lot of kids got killed, and it's an absolute tragedy.
Rocket or missile doesn't matter.
Yeah. Especially when you hear the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would have said it.
Yeah.
There's your throwback of the day. Anyway, so the rest of the story on this is that it was, in fact, not... Well, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't Israeli, but it wasn't targeted by Israeli or American munitions. What happened is it was part of an IRGC, either shoot down or one of their missiles or rockets or whatever was programmed wrong. So it falls on Iran, either way, on that one, and that's the truth of the matter.
Their munitions misfired. That's basically what it comes down to.
Or it hit something and it was debris, or it was... But actually, it doesn't look like it was anything other than...
Yeah, but the point is it was their munition, and regardless of what happened, it deviated from trajectory early in launch, and its deviation ended up with landing on a school.
Yeah, from what I'm reading in the article, translated from, I guess, Farsi.
And kids don't deserve that.
Is an IRGC aerospace missile hits a school in Minab County, Hormozgan Province. Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps announced that this was an inadvertent mistake and that serious action will be taken against those responsible for the action. So it's an absolute tragedy.
Yeah, I mean, that's nothing's going to happen.
However, but it's complicated, and the fog of war is kind of the long and short answer to what happened to those.
Well, here's the question that should be asked: is why was that particular silo that close to a school? Because again, deviated from trajectory in early launch. Like, it was not high in the sky when it went off course and landed on a school. That was not a defensive weapon. That was an offensive weapon.
Yeah.
Yes. So these weren't like Patriot launchers that you might put around like a bunker where you have VIPs and maybe they have a school nearby for their kids. This
Well,
was
there's only
like
so much land in
offensive.
that's really
That
occupiable.
is not an excuse in Iran.
Although I don't know specifically, because the area actually looks like there's kind of
It's a
plenty of
country the
land.
size of Alaska. That is such not an excuse.
Well, it's also mountainous, so there are areas where you can't build. But even still, what
I wish
the
it
long
was.
and the long
I
and the
wish
short
that
of the
it was an excuse.
story, either way, is that this one cannot be blamed on Israel or America. It all falls on to Iran. That's just the story there. So
Yeah.
sorry.
So question from Sarge is it confirmed that Khomeini is dead? And yes.
That has been
100%
confirmed.
confirmed.
There are some
Him and his kid, him and his son, whoosh, gone.
I think
What
some other
happened
members
was
of the family as well, because he had
yeah.
decided
So
to just go
what
home.
happened was the timing of it was basically it just waited until Khomeini was talking to all his fucking generals in one room in his house, and so they dropped one rocket right there onto him. Pinpoint.
Yeah, that got
So,
him and
top
some
brass
members of his family,
kid,
and
line of
yes, a
succession.
lot of the military and political what muckety mucks, I guess.
Yeah. The kind of upper echelon was hanging out, talking about how they're going to destroy the whole world, and then they got hit with one good
And
shot.
in another funny thing that I think deserves some clarification, because the world is just a funny place. It's like when freedom fighters become insurgents.
Right.
This is a great one. So, have you heard about the one-way attack drones?
No, tell me about the one-way attack drones.
Well, you may have heard of them used as a different nomenclature when everyone other than the United States was using them, or suicide drones, as they're known until today in media. But
now they're freedom fried drones. Got it.
Exactly. Yes, they're one-way attack drones. They're one-way attack drones,
Yes.
and
Why are they called one-way attack drones? Pray tell.
well, you're not going to
Is it
believe
because they
this.
attack in one direction?
Not exactly. No, it's more of a they can only attack once. And I know what you're going to ask. I know what you're going to ask. They're like the UAV that's got the limited number of Hellfires. Well, yes and no, in that they're like the Hellfire as opposed to the UAV.
So, are you telling me it's basically just a guided rocket that's really well guided?
Yeah, like by a person.
Okay.
You know, with a headset.
Okay, yeah.
And a camera on.
So
And
kind of like a
quad
JDAM,
rotors.
but like slightly further distance.
So, like, basically, if you've been following this thing in Eastern Europe involving Russia and Ukraine, you may have heard about drones. If you've not heard of them, I'm not even going to continue this line of comedy because that's retarded.
No, I got something to kind of in the same vein of comedy. What was it we were told to fear from Iran during the Bush era? What was the reason why we were trying to cooperate with these people that were butchering our boys in Iraq and Afghanistan?
Well, if I'm not mistaken,
why are we trying to work with them?
We were they're about 28.7 seconds away from developing nuclear weapons, right?
No, it wasn't even the nuclear weapons. What was the thing we didn't want to deal? We didn't want to deal with. We didn't want to have to worry about. We were scared of, at least in our political echelons here. The big bad what? Who are they gonna?
There you go.
The
exactly that.
The IRGC, the big paper tiger that turns out to be the IRGC.
I don't think anybody's actually afraid of the IRGC. Like, let's be honest about that.
That's what like Gingrich and the others were crying about back in 2005. It's like, no, we can't go after the guys killing our guys. Why would we do that? They have the IRGC. It's like the fucking Myrmidons.
I think what's really interesting. So I know that Trump gets things wrong. Like, he's an old man and he doesn't necessarily know what's going on, and like the world's complex. So there's errors that he makes for sure. But one of the things that I do like about the administration is they pretty openly broadcast what they're planning on doing and what they're seeking. So when you talk about the Iran stuff, like, it was identified to the Iranian government what was required, as well as the timeline for those requirements. And the IRGC was never in that, right? It was they had three pillars associated with the negotiation. One was an end to the new or downscaling of the nuclear program, stopping the missile program, and stop funding their proxies. And they basically said no to all those things. And like, one of the things that's interesting about Iran, like, I don't have an issue with targeted strikes, to especially decapitation strikes or military asset strikes. I don't want to see a boots on the ground conflict. I don't want to see like country building. I have no problem with walking in. This
not
is
nobody. Don't you say that. Don't you speak so highly of Lindsey Graham, okay? Anyway, continue.
I'm not. I'm just
not you. Craig. Anyway,
Trump won. There's a whole bunch of people who are all pissy about the Syrian missile strikes. I was a big fan of that, right? Because it's exactly how we should be conducting our international policy. It's you little minor country that's causing us excessive amounts of pain. Yeah, we just can obliterate you, and there's nothing that you can do about it. And that was a good thing on those strikes.
Worry about with it either.
And there's nothing that we should worry about, right? Like, we're going to maintain control of the globe. This idea of, walk softly and never use your stick, that was never going to play out in our favor. And so Trump won.
The left, like Biden.
Right. So Trump did wonders with his approach, where, and especially with the forecasting, when he was sitting down with Xi and they had dinner, and then the strikes happened, and Xi, when he leaves the dinner, has to, because he's not getting informed at the moment, right? So he has to get informed that Trump sat down, sat face, held a cordial discussion with him, didn't tip his hat at all, and then all of a sudden he had to realize that the chemical warfare was going on, or those weapon silos were there. And it's not even like the point of the Telegraph was not even that it was a Xi related thing. It's that Xi, like, he's not going to lose sleep or be affected in any way, shape, or form through the use of military tactics. Mm-hmm. That's a good signal. In the case of Iran, I was a big fan of the bombs hitting their production lines. Now, of course, Iran's going to go back and start trying to rebuild it, because ultimately, like, yes, a functional program has kind of a maintenance cost. We blew up their centrifuges, so now they're just going to buy new centrifuges. And it's not a particularly complex mechanism, right? When you look at gas centrifuges, they're not really that hard. You have a spinning top and then like a pipe. It's not even a turbine. It's not like turbines are more complex.
If you want to retrofit something, you just buy yourself a steam turbine. Like, it's really that simple.
Yeah, like the oldest like little spinny divot thing where they had steam come out the side. It's a really simple fucking thing. So like, yeah, I'm sure that they had nicer stuff, but they can absolutely jury rig a cheap ass couple tin cans together and make it work. So it doesn't surprise me they went back to it. The point of the strike was to destroy the facilities, destroy the research, destroy the associated hardware, and hopefully do enough damage that you can scatter the process stuff down in a hole, and it buys time.
Well, what we did, speaking of down in a hole and scattering, we took their extant stockpile, the majority of it, and we scattered it among rock and rubble, like half a mile below the ground.
Yep, and that's really tough to recover.
That's going to be already something that's a pain in the ass to get from raw rock, from a raw ore form. Now you got it all sprayed out, probably slightly lower concentration than the natural ore. Like, good luck, guys. And if you do go after it, we're gonna hit you again.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, the ore, if we turned around and take a look at the concrete and steel and mixture of that facility, the enrichment of that ore is higher, which is good, but they still have to process and clean it, which is a pain in the ass.
Right.
right? It's going to be a pain in the ass. It's going to,
In
like, it would
principle,
take.
they could recover it. Yes.
In principle, they could recover it. They probably would, but it's not going to be a short-term thing. They have to dig down. They have to haul all the material
They have
out.
to remove.
Then they have to,
They have to remove
it's a
on the
giant thing.
order of a. They have to remove on the order of a cubic mile of rock.
Yep. And
In
so,
order to
like,
get
I know
to the
that.
rock that's already down there, and then they have to process that.
Speaking of which, before I lose my train of thought on this, and the point that I was wanting to make originally
Yeah.
is, since we're talking about removal, is that this Roman style of diplomacy is what we're going to do is we're going to come in and tell you what's going to happen, and you're going to make that happen, or you're not, and if you don't, the next guy will get to choose whether he makes that happen or not. And it seems like I was saying in Venezuela, it seems like the next guy, or in this case, gal, was like, "Okay, Mr. Trump, message received." And in the case of this one, the new guy that's he's talking an even bigger game than Khomeini and Ahmadinejad. So,
But the best part about this analogy is, not that long ago, I had just rewatched the Biggest Dickus sketch from Monty Python. You never saw it?
no, it's a classic.
No,
Okay.
I have not.
Oh, Monty Python,
You
not
must-
the Holy Grail. The Life of Brian.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
Life
need
of
to-
Brian.
You need to watch the scene where you talk about the nickname.
Back when I was in high school, like everybody was constantly referencing the Holy Grail, and like that we all played D&D, and it was the whole thing, and the quotes came out, and so I watched it to like be part of the crowd, and I wasn't super impressed with Holy Grail. Maybe if I watched it again older, I'd appreciate it more.
It'll be
But Life of Brian was fucking amazing. They were ahead of, like, they had the Life of Brian is where you get the scene where they go, I want to be a woman. They literally play that fucking thing out.
The funniest part of all of that is John Cleese. As far ahead as he might have been back then, how
He's
far
so far
behind he
now.
has fallen.
No, he's coming around.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
actually- he's starting to come
only
back.
this last week he was like, hey, why aren't we allowed to make fun of Muslims?
Right? He's like, wait a second, I'm not allowed to make a joke?
Yeah.
It's like,
And
yeah,
funny enough,
man.
he's talked a lot of shit about Rupert. Well, not a lot, but he's hinted around about Rupert Lowe up until just recently. I don't think he's mentioned him by name, and he dare not mention him by name because every single other
he'd be
political
crucified.
party in Britain at the moment is they've got a hate boner for Rupert Lowe that is.
Dude, he is going to take Britain back. I cannot wait.
His entry onto the scene, that like launching of his party video, I look, Trump. I've talked about this before. I am not a Trump fan. I accept Trump as an imperfect means to my political ends. Rupert Lowe, he might be a little bit harder than I would think to go, but he's the leader that I wish Trump was, right? Eloquent, down to earth, not bloviating, and just
Straightforward,
hard
and
fucking.
factually accurate.
He's like that's the thing I love about Stephen Miller. He's basically Stephen Miller, except with a suave accent. Like, he's Stephen Miller. He's just
kind of a British Stephen Miller.
He needs to
Fair
go.
enough.
He needs less hair. That's the problem. He's got the accent. Now he needs less hair.
No. Stephen Miller needs to grow more hair. But yeah, Rupert Lowe is good. But yeah, I don't know. I like the U.S. I like the current doctrine under Trump, where it's we're just going to take these people that cause us problems. We're not going to treat them like real countries. We're going to just decapitate their leadership. Like, and I mean, I'm sick and tired. Like, what I was going to start with, and what I meandered with because I talked too much. Like, I think Russia has casus belli against the United States. I think Russia has casus belli against all of the NATO nations because of our interventions in Ukraine. right? Now, they aren't going to do that because they have the GDP of like New York State, and they would just be they're automatically in a losing war. They couldn't even win with the Ukrainian stuff, but proxy wars are wars. And this idea that somehow we've allowed the Houthis and Hamas and Hezbollah to operate with impunity against our interest, actually waging war against us and our allies, and we know where the funding's coming from, and that Iran's doing a proxy war. No, like we should honestly be starting to say, yeah, we're gonna start treating proxies and proxy wars as actual wars if the country keeps on doing this, right? Like, that's what the United States needs to state.
Well, especially if we're daddy in the room, we should go ahead and do the 3 strikes policy. And I think, with Russia, they're at like 1 or 2. They've got Ukraine. They've also got Ukraine again, but it's been a little bit, so we'll give them some slack. Iran, though, Iran is the rebellious child. They have had like 5, 6, 10, 20 fucking tries here. It's kind of enough. And again, like I mentioned, they openly, directly declared war on us. Again, happening again, but it was a direct declaration of war, like in just the last week or 2. At some point, we have to take them at their word. If they want to be taken seriously, we will take them seriously, and this is what they get.
Right, and that's the other thing too.
I don't like it, but it is what it has to happen.
But I mean the problem the problem that we have had as a country. Hold on, just a minute. I'll be back in a little. Well, I'll finish this topic, and then I gotta run the baby to the wife.
Yeah, no, of course.
But the biggest problem that the United States has in terms of its loss of dominance, power, and prestige, pretty much all of our political problems, pretty much all of our social problems, and our financial and our economic problems, is that we have been postulating and projecting this aura rather than, FAFOing. Right, like we should have been these liberal protesters who have caused all this problem this entire period of time. We should just fucking lock them up, right? These countries that decide to mouth off, we should just hit. Like if Iran wants to say, "Hey, we're the Great Satan," and they want to make videos about them blowing up our ships, we should say we believe that this is an actual threat to the United. And they'll, the left will come out and say, "Well, they're not a serious threat," and be like, "It doesn't matter whether they're a serious threat or not. They're an actual threat. Like it's an actual threat, not a. It's not something that's going to." Decapitate the United States, but they're one bad actor away with associated weaponry of actually harming the United States. So let's let's deal with them.
But more than that, I mean, they've already killed American citizens, and not like accidentally, like they have directly, intentionally killed American citizens.
And that kind of action, like the United States should have turned around and said, okay, upon the Iranian regime killing a United States citizen for a violation of a law that we don't celebrate here in any way, shape, or whatever the reason for killing was, we should have just turned around and just decapitated their leader. Like that's the consequence to anybody who interferes with us.
Yeah.
And just not exactly breaking, but related. And I don't have confirmation on this, so take it with a hefty grain of salt because fog of war is thick as soup. But Ayatollah Arafi may have been taken out in earlier strikes today. So
I'm guessing that's true.
It's entirely possible.
Like these guys don't know, they have a hard time keeping who their leadership is and where their leadership is secret. And their communications is entirely compromised. The security of their communications network is entirely compromised. This is how they knew to strike Khomeini where he was because they could hear everything that was being said between these people. That's how they got to the point where they know where all their assets are, and that's how they knew to strike all of them at the same time. Is because they got to listen to them speak about it as they were listening. They get told where everything is in real time. So my guess is that the next 2 or 3 people that they try to install as their supreme leader, those people are going to die in quick order too. Like it's probably going to be a 12-hour job for a while.
Honestly,
which
I
have
can't
mixed feelings
really
on, 'cause
say
I want
how
them
any
to,
of
like,
this is going to play out, if I'm being completely honest, because things are being handled
it's going to be like that
in
until they
a.
get their shit in gear. And I got mixed feelings on how they're proceeding with that. At the same time, like that's kind of the option they have available to them. The U.S. and other participating governments. Like, keep in mind, they're firing at all our bases in other countries, but Jordan, Saudi Arabia,
Well, that's another point I'd like to
UAE,
get into,
and
but
Qatar,
before
those
we kind
four
of.
countries already are
Oh, no,
pissed
we absolutely need
right
to get
now.
into the. Well, we won't call it friendly fire because it's not friendly anymore. But we need
Well,
to get into
whatever
that.
we're
But
friendly.
first, I do actually kind of want to dig into that topic for just 1 second, and that's going to be until we get somebody in who has the right. Until Iran puts somebody in that has an amenable background or has spoken
So they
about
want to
things
work with us.
appropriately, they're probably going to continue doing that. Now, if the next guy they get in is like, hey, maybe we don't need to be a
They aren't even
hardline
lying to
thing.
us well yet. That's part of it. Like they aren't even lying to us and telling us what we want to hear as far as working with us.
Well,
They're
it's not.
still in the
That's
angry.
well,
They're
that's
still in
not
the angry
even what I'm
adolescent
saying
phase.
here. What I'm saying is we can look directly at Arafi's past and see that he's
Yeah.
made statements that are counter to a peaceful resolution. And
True.
I don't like this shit. I don't like this fucking international fuckery, but it is what it is. Here we are. The situation has got to be resolved. It can't be left unresolved or it's just going to get worse. So,
Yeah.
you started the fucking surgery, you got to take the cancer out. That's just the way it is. You cut the tumor open, you leave it there, it's going to be really bad. So yeah, here we are. So yeah, you got to cut the rest of that out.
Here we are.
And that's what you do. So what is probably going to happen is like what you're saying, until somebody that's got an adequately, shall we call it approved, but shall we call it the kosher history necessary to lead, then that person will probably be allowed to do so. Much like, was it Machado? I can't remember. Whoever in Venezuela that was the number two.
So
that was,
so the ultimate goal of the diaspora is to get Pavli in, which is
oh yeah, the son
as,
of the
as,
Shah.
as I've said before, he has said that his goal ultimately is to guide the nation to a democratic republic of some variety. And furthermore, he never said when that will happen or if it will happen while he is alive. But that he has said that is a goal that he has for the country, is to guide it towards some form of democratic republic, a representative form of leadership. So the thought is that at some point, like the diaspora's, from what I gather, the diaspora's generic kind of end game goal is to install Pavli as an interim leader, interim monarchic leader, and to then restructure the government there with assistance from some variety that I'm assuming he's going to find a way to purchase, and become some kind of democratic republic. So something. So it's not like he doesn't have things to model it off of. There's plenty of precedent and there's plenty of example constitutions for him to look at.
If worst comes to worst, just roll it back to the Shah days. I mean, that worked.
That's kind of
Now,
like I said. It's kind of what they want to start with, is to have him as Shah and then move to.
Now, on that note, there's some things I'd like to discuss before we move on to the current issue, and that's the past. So, Iran was a bit more monarchist, but also tribal until, I want to say, the middle 50s, when BP, believe it or not, wanted to make sure that things were going well for them to get the oil at a good price. And so
right,
in comes the Shah. And okay, so BP wants a good price on oil, you say, and then the guys there are not working with him, so they put the Shah in. Right, cool. But then the Shah got removed by this tiny religious sect that had no real motion in Iran naturally. Well, it's a small world. You see, the Shah loved Iran. Sure, he's a big fan of the West, big friend, but he wanted to ensure that Iran was going to be prosperous and stable as its own nation. And so was nationalizing, not unfairly, mind you. He wasn't just taking things away. He was buying out these companies and also attempting to do so with BP's resources. And BP wasn't having that because, well, by Jim, we put you here and we can put you away. And so, long story short, the Shah was out. Now, I have had to do a bit of research.
Keep in mind also that we had a president who was a fucking pussy.
Oh, there's a little bit more to that, as a matter of fact, and that ties in directly to it because, as I was just saying, I've been digging into this a little bit to try and find some clarity because it's very unclear how things went down. So, from what I can tell, and there's nothing on this because we're going to be dealing with two notoriously tight-lipped agencies, MI6 and the CIA. So it looks like those two work together behind the scenes to enrich the Ayatollahs to such a degree that they might be able to influence things. Now, again, two of the tightest lips organizations in international espionage, and they don't even really have a FOIA-able system for MI6, if I'm to understand it correctly, over in Britain. So
I don't believe so.
So we're not even really going to get an answer on that over there, and no one's asked quite the right questions to force the CIA to release what they've got. So that's what it seems, long and short, but no verification. The official story, of course, is that, these grassroots rebels, they came up from nowhere and they told all the people all the things they wanted to hear, but they lied to them and they screwed them over in the end. Well, as with all things, probably not the case, but the two tightest lipped intelligence organizations in the world, so it is what it is. Now then, there's your backstory and your introduction to things. And one of the reasons why you'll probably understand why I think the Shah should never have been deposed. But the other point, tying into what Craig was saying, was what a pussy our president at the time was. He had no control over the CIA. No one did, actually, at that time, because if you'll remember, there was a president that tried to exert a little bit of force over him. And, well, anyway, he went on a drive down in Dallas a few days later. And, well, we actually know what happened now. They hired some Cubans to kill him, and they did, and it was the CIA's fault. And now we know that. So, thanks, spooks. He was totally fucking right, and so is Terry.
So I
you
mean,
can see him when you're driving.
This kind of begs a question. Now that we know that they were involved, why hasn't basically the standing order and solution to the problem happens? Like, why hasn't this rogue agency been scattered to the corners of scattered into the wind and shattered into 1,000 pieces, that kind of stuff?
That's a really good question.
That seems when it comes to things like respecting the office,
did we actually prove that the Cubans, that the CIA hired the Cubans? Is that actually in the documents?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that was actually what got released.
It's there. The Cubans part isn't specifically in there. The Cubans in other other documents that have come out beforehand, but now that we've got those, it's like we've got the missing link basically is there now because of what was released. So it's
again,
okay,
this
so this says
the question,
like the link in the chain.
Why is this?
Where did you want me to leave it?
Organization, still there as a thing? Because again, like
we
talk about we talk about things like respecting the office. You'd think that the office would have a responsibility to eliminate a rogue faction that is specifically antagonistic towards the office itself, not just the person sitting in it, but whoever sits in it, being a target of this rogue organization within our government.
Yeah. A shadow government, if you will.
This is, but also again, this harkens back to a time period where there were different personnel involved. So I would really say is any personnel who are directly involved and their direct, I'd say they're like their direct underlings who may have persisted, like those people should all be out. Like just as a minimum basis for security for the president.
Sorry, there's certain things that piss me off. Like my Alexa's advertising Huggies to me, and it doesn't really bother me, except it says it's up to 100% blowout leak protection. 0% is up to 100%. Like who the fuck? Like that's not a guarantee of anything.
That's a fucking cable bill.
It's like when you see on Swedish. It's like when you pass Swedish Fish in the drugstore, and it says a fat-free food, and you're like, I'm not expecting to have fat. Like it's a fucking sugar and various forms of sugar.
Yeah,
no fat's involved here.
But as I said, I think it's hilarious. That is an internet cable service advertisement up to 100% blowout resistant. Get the fuck out of here. And resistant instead of proof. Like just shut the fuck up at that point.
Right, like you're not saying anything.
It's
like when somebody sits there and throws technology down. Whenever you see people say, "Oh, we've added a technology," and it's like you added a plastic part.
Yeah.
You added some plastic wrap to the absorbent in the diaper. Congratulations.
You figured out a way to make it pollute more and last less long. Congratulations, as it is. Yeah, product design, modern product design. Truly,
feel for you, Steve.
Truly the best.
Yes, indeed.
So,
also beards and babies, bad combination.
Yeah, they like to grab them and yank a little hard.
Yep. That's
Mini Steve doing all right.
A real thing.
I mean, yeah, we're upset.
As babies do.
We went up to go visit mom, and then mom's taking a shower, and so we got removed from that, and now we're unhappy about it. The world is not a good place. The poor babies. Poor babies. So we're
speaking of the world not being a good place, might I bring to mind that not only is Maduro in prison and Khomeini dead and Ahmadinejad, but in that same time frame, the Save America Act cannot get passed. And Trump can't get his recess appointments put through.
I just need these motherfuckers to bring it to the floor because Vance is going to be the 51st vote, and I don't fucking care, and just get it done.
Yep. It's just too late.
Like, as far as I understand, it wouldn't really even have much in the terms of ramifications for this midterms. Like, it's basically designed to help us out in 2028, and us being the country, not the party. Like, just get it done. Get it done, guys, because you have until January 6th or whatever it is of next year to get your shit in gear and get this stuff passed. And, it's not an election issue right now. It's not going to stop women from voting in 2026. Like, just fucking get it done. What are you guys waiting for?
Yep. Just do the thing. That's it's another 80-20 issue. But for some reason,
beyond that, man, it is a fucking 95.
No. I mean nationwide, left and right. It's actually I think it might be like a 70-75-30 thing, but I mean actually nationwide on both sides of the aisle, everybody wants this.
Every demographic they cite as being a problem for not doing it, all of them want it. Like there's no excuse.
And back to Iran, we'll be touched on that plenty tonight.
Yeah.
is 2:34 a.m. 2:34 a.m. yesterday, obviously, as planes are in the air and missiles are flying, 10 minutes before Trump says a word, there's a U.S. nonprofit that's already starting to print out signs and flyers.
Yeah.
It's
and guess what those signs say? Of course, I mean it's not like they didn't already have an identical protest just recently. I'm not talking about Venezuela. Like they literally had an identical protest, but they had more signs. So they decided to re-up.
2:30 a.m. Eastern Time. The Answer Coalition, a nonprofit project whose leaders described themselves as Marxist and Communist, announced, quote, "Emergency nationwide day of action today, Saturday, February 28th. Stop the war with Iran." 10 minutes before anyone in the world other than Iranians, U.S. Armed Services, and Israelis knew about this, they were already getting their people on the ground.
Somebody's a fucking traitor.
So, how did they get this information so very swiftly, one has to ask? Because that's very, very peculiar. And just a note there, I believe is it Neville? Yeah, Neville Singham, who lives in Shanghai, of course, far, far away from any of the front lines that he funds.
Yep.
So, what did we have here? No new war with Middle East, signs, all this, that, and the other. So, yeah, it's all so tiresome.
Neville Singham and George Soros are two people that
peas in a pod.
If I was Trump, I would go to great lengths to find a way to get them onto our soil somewhere, and then hold them prisoner for high crimes against the country, treason.
That would be your primary goal.
Not treason so much as because they're foreign nationals, as just being enemies of the state.
No, fair. There's any number.
Those who are pedants among us, and I know they exist. So,
but yes. Absolutely. And the thing is, too, that's your primary goal regarding your Soroses of the world. But you want to go with a secondary option as well, and that's the Hungary choice. And that is, you just ban them, and you ban all of their organizations, and you say if you step onto this soil, you'll be arrested. And you can't fund or found any organizations here. You're a terrorist in our eyes. Thank you. Please drive through. That would be, I could live with that. That would be fine.
Request from Sarge. They're not traitors if they are not citizens.
That is a fair statement.
They are
enemy combatants.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if they're combatants necessarily, but they are certainly enemies of the state.
Well,
they're foreign adversaries.
Craig, if words are violence.
Okay. Yes, if the communoid words are violence, well, actually, that's a distinction, isn't it? Because if they're capitalist words, they might be more violent than communist words.
Right, but if they're capitalist words and they're violent, they are issued by a human being. However, when an animal threatens you with violence, it's not the same as a person. You just have to act immediately and out of instinct when an animal threatens you with violence. Am I wrong?
You know, so I think I see where you're going with this, but I would like to take another direction. If you're a communist, you are not an individual. You see,
well, no, that's where I am going with this as well. Because see, if a communist isn't a person, well, then they're
not an animal, though. They're just property of the state.
Oh well, then it's just destruction of property.
They are labor force. They
So
are
it's the
individually
same as
packaged
like
labor
knocking
force
over a
units.
sign or something, destruction of property. I get you.
They are labor force units. They're allocations of account.
Yeah, it's like, if you accidentally knock the tracks off of a tractor or something. Accidents happen.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of accidents and funny ones at that, and friendly fire as well. Although this one isn't exactly the friendly fire. We should get to that one next because that's something. Anyway, so 80% of Iran's oil generally finds its way onto the Chinese market.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about the fuckery that she gets up to with things that use a lot of fuel, like their city-sized fishing fleet. And with 80% of those, I shouldn't say 80%. I don't know what they're.
Oh, by the way, can you repeat the name of that group? The group that's making the signs, just so Sarge can hear that again.
Oh yeah, let me scroll down here. The Answer, Roy Neville Singham Answer Coalition.
Answer Coalition. All right, thank you. Sorry, continue. China and their fuckery.
Yeah. So, 80% of Iran's oil goes to the Chinese market, and okay. So here we go. It's 13 to 14% of their total seaborne crude imports. So that's a very substantial amount, and they burn a lot with those fishing fleets that basically strip the ocean and the ocean floor. So this is probably going to have a bit of an impact on their ability to do that. So I don't, some good things can happen from rash actions. But, man, there's so much we can go over on this. On the same note, we're going to have to, as of today, we're going to have to call up Xi and say, oh, hey, so we've been using a lot of Patriots, and we're going to need some semiconductors, bah. And that's just the way it is, because, goodness, like fully a fourth of our materials come from Chinese companies as far as semiconductor parts.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna really need to start. Okay. I am thinking on the fly on this one. So we are not investment advisors, but we have talked about the U.S. companies that are rolling out semiconductor fabs here in the States. And in other safe locations.
I get some cash on my hands, man.
If you felt so inclined as to invest, now would certainly, I think, be an advisable time to get in on any of these fabs if you have the ability to do so. Because I see money. I see dollar signs.
Yeah, I'm not a financial investor, but that seems like a growth industry for me. And that and the European fabs, if you're going on to foreign exchange. That's probably where I'd put some money too. But again, not an investment advisor, blah, blah, blah.
And
then again, I want to know, if there's somebody who's taking financial advice off of me. If you're taking financial advice off of a couple of retards on the internet.
Well, the thing is, any financial advice that we've given has been generally pretty solid. Other than the Nokia, I will take that one.
You bastard! I'm suing you.
But that said, they do still have the contract. Just there's been no motion. Now that Elon is pretty much gung-ho on getting people up onto the moon, and somebody's got the contract, there could be.
You know who has the contract for lunar permanence? We mentioned this before.
Mm-hmm. Nokia.
That's Blue Origin.
Oh, that's right.
If Nokia had the lunar permanence, I gotta tell you, if they can make indestructible phones, they could make an indestructible a moon hab.
Oh, true. They definitely could. No, they have the communications just to be completely clear, they have the communications contract for the moon.
Really?
And yeah, they're whenever it happens, they're set to be the ones that set up the infrastructure, which will probably not be 5G. It'll probably be a mix of 4 and 5G, because 5G just doesn't have a lot of range.
Well, that's the thing is on the moon, it has line of sight range, more or less. There's not a lot of traffic on the moon as far as telecoms goes.
Oh yeah, true.
And there's no atmosphere to attenuate the signal. It's just the inverse square law at that point. So it's actually a pretty great place to put 5G comms.
True. But 4G has legitimately good range, so they could put up a few towers and cover the whole moon.
It's cheaper to put a tower up for 4G right now. Actually, that could be a supply and demand issue.
Well, not only that, too, we've got really, really good 4G tech now, so they could send up something that's very small.
The funny thing is, you can get 4G in an airplane, but you can't get 5G in an airplane at cruising altitude. So 4G still works at that distance. I bet you there's going to be an attempt, just for shits and giggles, just to see if it'll work, and someone will probably get a good paper written up on it.
Oh, integrate into a satellite and then
just to see if you could pick up a cell tower from the moon. If you could actually get signal, and someone will make a fucking phone call one day, it'll be hilarious.
Yeah,
it could happen. It'd be a shit call, but it could happen.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Keep in mind, that there is going to be a significant delay. Because remember, while phones can tolerate a latency on the order of milliseconds, it's not instantaneous between the Earth and the Moon. It's also not like a 20-minute one-way trip to Mars. So, it will be faster than the typical Mars comm.
Oh, undoubtedly.
But it's still gonna have latency.
Well, it's gonna be like calling Europe from a landline phone back in the day. Which
it'll be enough to notice as latency goes, which is going to be hilarious. Like I said, it's going to be funny as hell. Someone will be able to write a paper on it, here's how the speed of light works. Here's the real world consequences, just like GPS. One of those funny things where someone gets to point out how Einstein was pretty much right on the shit. Which will piss off all the physicists who are currently upset that Einstein wasn't correct about everything.
Yeah, it's funny how that works.
It's just. Well, it's like quantum gravity is one of those massive pains in the ass,
Oh, even funnier
quantum
still.
Gravity. Gravity in general is a massive pain in the ass.
True.
Again, falling down isn't hard.
Yeah, but it's obviously you're being facetious, right?
I am. Yeah.
The reality is, for those who don't understand the physics, gravity doesn't make sense so we can unite all of the fundamental forces except for gravity. Gravity doesn't really make sense as a force based on its actual relative strength to other forces. It is also, I think, the only force that is unidirectional and doesn't have a repulsive variant. And
in theory, it could, but that would also. That's actually one of the theoretical bases for dark energy, because as two negative masses got closer, they would repel and accelerate faster. It's basically a free energy source, which is stupid.
Yeah. So there's when it comes to the universe itself, when we sit there and apply our standard equations of gravity, they don't work, and that's what dark matter is. It's a fudge factor to make everything work.
Yep. Same with dark energy at this point, because it's a fudge factor to let us say that the universe is expanding, and somehow still flat. That's
a physics leap year, if you will.
Yep, and again, right? So I know I talked about it a long time ago. I'm a big fan. There's actually other people who are in the same vein. I believe that gravity is a function of the electromagnetic force. All the other forces collapse to electromagnetism at some point.
Yeah, the electric universe theory.
Yeah, and the basically that gravity is an emergent phenomenon of the electromagnetic force and the physical structure of matter. Essentially, because we have spheres orbiting in space, or we have bipolar spheres orbiting in space, we will form naturally attractive and naturally repulsive pairs.
Yes, and they all have blue hair. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop myself on that one. Sorry.
Yeah, that was a failure, my friend. I mean, your comedy genes must be a different lineage of Jews.
Yeah, we're just the smart ones.
Mm.
Yeah, I guess Craig's descended from the science Jews, not the money Jews or the funny Jews.
I mean, all Jews are money Jews.
This is true.
Their secret source of power.
Well, hey, there you go.
That's why they need the bag of gold at their neck. That's the real reason we have invaded Iran.
No, maybe. It could be. Oh, but speaking of that, we should probably get around to the whole friendly fire thing. So, Iran cast missile. In its confusion, it hit everyone. So
it did.
What?
So
it shot at all of our bases in the area, which meant firing at all of its theoretically friendly neighbor countries.
Yes, and not just at our bases in same said friendly countries. Just kind of willy nilly. There was a Shahad drone that was headed straight for the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah,
it got taken down, but it sends a very big message. Like, look at this thing here. There's nothing you can do about it. You can try and protect it, but if somebody wants to take it out, and they're a state level actor, well, it is what it is, and that's a discomforting thought, you could certainly say. And yeah, the defenses worked, and they would very likely work in the future, but they might not. And that's kind of terrible. So there's a fellow that did a really interesting thread, kind of discussing the ramifications of all of that. And I'll throw it in the show links below. But that's just one. We have, in addition to that, the Dubai International Jebel Airport in Dubai, that is now shut down, and another numerous other airports in the Arab region are basically just shut down. One of the busiest international hubs is dead. So this.
So have they fired any missiles at China yet? just spitballing on that one.
Well, no, that's a funny thing you should mention as well, because we've heard for so long that they've got they're supposed to have these international capable missiles, or not, and it kind of looks like we're at the or not stage now.
Now, to be fair, they have had some intervened missiles explode in space.
They have, as a matter of fact, and they also have multiple. They have MIRVs as well, which that's a tough one. You can't deal with those unless you get them in space or in the atmosphere. Like, once those boys are on their way down, it's too late. All right, so anyway,
hold on a second. So I am playing a video game. Someone in the chat said the Tolkien estate should release a Lord of the Rings themed cookbook and call it the Silmarillion.
You could do that.
Very punny.
There are numerous Lord of the Rings cookbooks.
I would be surprised if there aren't.
Well, of course there are.
But let's be honest, the only ones we want to learn about is the Hobbits. And all of that's bullshit anyway.
Well, and to be fair, the Hobbits deserve a Shire.
They do.
They do. They absolutely. They
And
don't.
the
They don't
ones in
need
there that are
to house
crazy and
all the
talk about
orcs.
adventures.
Do not need all those orcs. Do not.
Nope.
Oh, but again, back to the other point. The Burj Al Arab, the one that looks like a boat sail. That one did not get hit with a drone, just as a by the by, but that one got hit with drone debris and was on fire.
Yeah.
So the Iranians.
Hold on a second. What kind of drones are these? Are these the one-way drones? Or are these the suicide drones?
Well, I think since they came from Iran, they're suicide drones.
Okay,
Yeah.
they're the evil drones.
Yeah, they're that's how that works. Yes, exactly.
They're the evil death-doing drones.
Absolutely.
But the anti-American Marxist communist drones.
Right. They're not one-way drones. They're suicide drones. They're evil bad guy drones. Because obviously the evil bad guys are using drones. Speaking of evil bad guys, while everything was going on and things were getting all heated over there in Iran and Israel, as it started, I said it's the fire has expanded because there's a fella that decided Fortnite was something that he was wanting to play. A fella allegedly by the name of Jeff, or as he goes online, Little Saint Jeff 1. Went ahead and logged into Epic and got in a little bit of Fortnite.
Right. He touched on this before.
Yeah.
Kind of like he touched the little kids.
Yeah. Yeah, it apparently kind of like he was touching his keyboard overnight on Saturday, I guess.
What is going on here?
Epstein might be alive.
Well, his account.
Oh yeah. That I think. See, and again, I think I mentioned this. The last episode was when South Park decided to do their Saddam Hussein or what was it? It's Trump as Saddam Hussein did the re-sketch. It wasn't very funny, predominantly because it wasn't creative. They lost an opportunity to have Epstein be alive in the basement, and then they could turn around and say that The Simpsons didn't do that one.
They're doing some predictive programming, you might say.
Interesting.
That Epstein was secretly an advisor to the White House this entire time.
Oh, and speaking of advisors to the White House, we should probably talk about that. And
he should, and the conversation should have been like, "Well, Biden got me ice cream." Shit like that.
Or you know what? We're gonna have an ice cream and pizza party, and it's just an ice cream and pizza party.
Yes, the cheese pizza. And it's actually cheese pizza.
Cheese pizza and vanilla ice cream. And maybe they have some hot dogs flown in from Chicago.
Hot dogs, yeah.
And they just happen to be expensive, you know. Well, anyway, and back to the whole friendly fire and how it ties into allies of the White House. So early on in things, the kingdom, or I should say the House of Saud, was most displeased with America and Israel's egregious actions. Fair enough. And then Iran just said, "Fuck you, everyone! You're all getting bombs. Bombs for you. Bombs for everyone, and extra bombs for Dubai, just because."
Yeah, that was a funny meme I saw earlier. It was, "Sir, Israel has attacked. Bomb Dubai. Sir, the United States has attacked.
Yeah.
Bomb Dubai."
Yeah. It's they got a hate boner for Dubai or something. So anyway, that's
They don't like how tall their buildings are.
Apparently not.
Yeah, like,
they've hit some
you have to understand,
airports.
Dubai is like New York, where they allowed people once upon a time to build tall. Whereas Tehran is more like LA, where they have a building height limit. And so if you put, like, New York and LA that close to each other, there would be that kind of conflict.
Well, but on that note, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has graciously offered to assist in the battle against the IRGC. Mm-hmm. Probably because, well...
They heard a building. They like their buildings like we like our boats.
So...
You don't touch our boats.
Long and short here, the initial wave was... let me see here. It was against the UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Jordan, and Kuwait. Which is... that's something. Like... Okay, UAE.
They hit all the.
I get you. Saudi Arabia. I get you. Kuwait. All right, we got a military base there. Qatar. Okay.
We have a military base there.
We have do. An airport there. We do, but the thing is, they're
supposed to like them. Yes.
They were not as thoughtful with their targeting as they ought to have been.
I'm kind of surprised again. Like the whole China thing. They also haven't fired at Russia.
Well, Russia very well might just not take that super duper well.
No. But the reason why Russia hasn't hopped in, well, I mean, let's look at also go back further. China and Russia after the whole COVID kerfuffle. Russia was really not happy with China. Like really not happy with them.
No, and we were in a really excellent place to
we could have
capitalize on that. There. We really could have gotten a lot done that time.
Yeah, they could have sent them supplies. Said, "Hey, man, let's link up economies."
Man, that's real shitty that happened.
Capitalism happen.
Let's
capitalism happen.
Let's let us fix that up for you, brother. Come in. Here's a coat, man.
Share
come
some
in
vaccines.
from the cold.
Like get out the whole red carpet treatment. Nah. We'd rather apparently have a global enemy that we're not allowed to fight. Unlike Khomeini, who we finally given ourselves permission to fight.
Yep. Now, that said, there have been some losses. It was up until earlier today. Now, some of these losses might have genuinely been earlier. But as of now, we've got a report of, I believe, 5 servicemen dead and
the last I saw was 3, but there might have been another 2 in the meantime.
Well, that's what
all that said, there was a modified post that was being shared around from X. The Fortunes were gleefully memeing on it. Thomas Massey did not put out a post saying that like 1,600 people had died. That was just somebody doing, HTML editing. They just did an inspect element edit.
Oh, and another quick note too, on 2 potential hoaxes. The first, there's been photos circulating of Khomeini walking around the countryside, those
AI bullshit.
No, they're not. They're actually just old photos.
Oh, well, okay, real photos.
Yeah, so they're just recycled photos of people saying what he's been seen out.
There is a photo of the port to the south of Iran from last year in April, when they had a bit of a little explosion, a little chemical blast, that has been suggested as being some explosions either in Israel or in one of the many countries they launched rockets into, besides Israel. But it's been suggested as plenty of different things, but it is just a place where they had a port explosion in April of last year. It's a nighttime or explosion, a big orange fire, and so on. It's just that's not recent.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go.
Well, anyway, that's the one kind of hoax that's been going around. And there's another, and I am happy to report that this is a hoax. Is that in his rage at the fall of the Ayatollah, that well-known Los Angeles terrorist supporter Hassan Piker had again in his rage electrocuted his dog Kaya, There is confirmation now that the dog is in fact alive and safe. We cannot guarantee that she has been unshocked, but she has not been shocked to death. So
that's good.
There's
genuinely glad that Kaya is alive.
Yeah, I mean, she deserves a lot better, a whole lot better than that tragic life that she is leading. But we have proof of life, so the captives are safe. Hamas Piker refuses yet still to release, but at least the captives remain alive.
We need to get Trump on this. Trump has been very good at getting Hamas to release their hostages.
Yeah, and maybe he can get Hamas Piker to do the same. We are hopeful. We are hopeful. We are praying for the day from the from the couch to the tree.
Kaya will be free.
That's right. That's absolutely right. So, now back again to Iran. There is some thoughtfulness to the way. Okay, they're making some really blatantly idiotic moves, which may prove to be smart in the long run. I really doubt it currently. It seems more like they're burning bridges, but whatever. They rolled out their lowest tech weaponry first. We've seen today that they've started to roll out their MIRVs and their hypersonics, having destroyed a number of our launch detection systems in the area. Credit where it's due. That happened. There is talk that they will be continuing to escalate in the coming days with, if they have them, intercontinental weapons, if they have them, nuclear weapons. So we will see, because there has been an effort on the part of the Iranians to deal with the systems that would be able to deal with that. But by that same note, their abilities have been severely deprecated because
if they happen to have.
Go on.
I'd be very surprised if they happen to have nukes at this stage.
Well, and that's
they've
the
been
other
very
thing.
clear that they have been very clear that upon having access to these devices, they would launch them, or they would find a way to get them into our country and they would set them off.
But
so the whole what the hell is that fucking what was his name? That movie where they had the dirty bomb scenario that ended with the church getting blown up.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember for the life of me.
God, what the fuck is his name? He's also in Ocean's 11. What the hell is his name?
George Clooney?
Yeah, Clooney. He was the guy. Remember, he found the guy who had the bomb put in the backpack, which is like a bullshit scenario to begin with because they aren't that small. It's like a 1 kiloton yields weapon or half kiloton yield weapon that they managed.
That's not entirely true. They are actually pretty small. The U.S. versions are very small.
But we have foreign version that had been snuck in within a Janssen.
Yeah. Wait, I'm just saying that like nukes can be very small. They also they have a commensurately small yield, right? Like they're not city busters. They're like,
if we're talking kiloton, like I get it. You're gonna have the soccer ball config kiloton yield. Like, I know it's not that big. I know it's not that big.
No.
But at the same time, like that's like that's plausible if you use the American one, maybe. But if we're talking,
hold on, give me a minute. I'll give you the I'll give the calculation for the uranium core size. Yeah, just give me 3 seconds.
Peacemaker, George Clooney. Thank you, Sarge, for being the guy in the wing. Oh, goddamn. Thanks for being our Chinju tonight. That's for him to understand.
Yeah, a little beyond me.
Yeah, it was Peacemaker. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I don't quite know. Couldn't say.
All right.
It was a good movie. I liked it.
I'd have to take.
Let me get you.
Well, and also
at the very end of it. At the very end of it, he they ripped off one explosive panel from the soccer ball config, and it just irradiated an entire church instead of blowing up New York or whatever.
Victories, you know. And, well, on the note of that.
Sorry, the Peacemaker. Okay.
So, one thing that is a bit of a problem because, you know, we've had missiles get through, and, well, case in point, I'll include a link to a video here from Indian Bronson that kind of illustrates exactly that. There were 11 Patriots that were shot at one hypersonic missile, not one of them hit. So,
I apparently don't have MathCAD. I am so very sorry, boys. Without MathCAD, my ability to convert units is questionable.
Oh, well. No worries. Take your word for it. But
I didn't even give any word. You can't take my word.
Okay, well then, what's your rough
that he doesn't
estimate?
have a math program? Come on. I believe when he says he doesn't have MathCAD.
Oh, fair. Well, what's
the
your
guy's redoing his whole fucking house? I get it.
What's your
Andy
best rough estimate?
Yeah, well,
on
you know,
that,
I have it on my my laptop for like school and stuff. I just must never have put it on here. I got Creo, oddly enough, of all the fucking things to have, but PTC, I do not have PTC's MathCAD, which actually makes me incredibly sad because I've got it everywhere. I put that on, like, that's on every single one of my work computers that I've ever been on. You can tell I worked in a you look, if MathCAD's there, I've used that computer.
Yeah, I get it. I'm basically the same with Mathematica.
Fuck Mathematica.
I mean,
I'll have to do
six
it.
on, half dozen the other on them. It depends on your application. Kind of like people are saying, I love MATLAB. Mathematica sucks. Like, yeah, if I want to multiply matrices, MATLAB is the one to use.
Or just, preserve the actual language for, or preserve the actual annotation for math so it looks like an actual equation.
Sure.
All right. 200 MeV for fission.
What are the numbers? What are the numbers?
See, I'm giving him the time here to get his stuff in gear. He's gonna come out and he's gonna look like a fucking genius.
Tick tock, think the clock.
Never say I was a bad wingman.
2.6. So a kiloton is 2.611 times 10 to the 25th MeV. So that would be 10 to the 23rd. So it's like 1.3 for a kiloton times 10 to the 23rd. And that would be per fission. So 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd is, so you need roughly,
what's that
you
yield?
get a kiloton yield. You need roughly, this is amazing how this works. You need roughly 1 mole of uranium, which would be 235 grams.
Huh.
Yeah.
That is a not tremendous amount.
Which is a surprisingly small amount, right? Yeah.
Yep. So what's fascinating is that it really breaks, like, a kiloton of TNT to mega electron volts per Wolfram alpha is 2.6 times 10 to the 25th. Now you want to get down to individual 200 MeV per fission. You basically get to divide that by 2 and drop it to 10 to the 23rd, which makes it directly comparable to Avogadro's number. It's actually, I think, because Avogadro is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd, and this would be like 1.3. So it's actually like 1/6 of a gram. 1/6 of 240. Let's call it 240 grams for round numbers. Pure, we'll call it impurities. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. But 1/6 of 240, so you need 60 grams for a 1 kiloton yield.
Wow.
They also need 60 grams that can see itself. I guess that's the diluent issue, the enrichment phase of things.
You're probably looking at something.
That's pretty wild, though, isn't it? Just 60 grams of stuff, and that stuff's really dense. So
also
it's like,
that, yeah. So the
like,
60 grams is going to be a smaller package.
It'd be fucking radioactive, but you're talking about something that's like the size of what, like a large die, like a D20.
So 60 grams. So uranium is 19 grams per cubic centimeter. So I need
that's like
3 cubic centimeters. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So that's
so I need 3 or 4 cubic centimeters. and then I'd probably need to have. So you'd want to have like a PUB source, or specifically like. Typically, you're going to use a PUB source, or you could use an ambi source, but it doesn't really matter. Usually, it's going to be beryllium with some sort of high frequency decay rate alpha emitter, and so you just keep the alpha emitter out of it, and then once you put the two of them together, the high alpha will react with beryllium and bump up beryllium, and then it'll decay with a neutron, and then that will produce the initial trigger for the reaction. So you need that. You need the mechanism to drive the plutonium into the beryllium, or the typically it's like an americium beryllium or a PUB or an ambi source. You could also, I think there's a Californium version with some other stuff that you can do. There's a couple different ways you could do it, but you need a neutron source or something that can become a neutron source. Tritium might work. I think tritium decays into neutron, doesn't it?
I'm pretty sure that's used
Tritium,
in a lot of modern nuclear
that
weapons.
one does beta decay, doesn't it?
I can't remember.
You put the phosphor, no, because the tritium light sources, you put a phosphor in there, and it picks up the electron, right?
Let's see. Is it?
Beta or positron?
The chart of the nuclides is 3 feet away from me, but I'd have to stand up from my chair.
Oh well, shit.
I understand.
That's too much.
That's asking a lot.
That is too much. It's right there. I can physically see it, but I don't want.
Just the fucking corner, though, right? Find out next time.
No, I've got like 75-80% of the book visible. Like I just cleaned off my desk, and it's just like it's probably like 9 inches away from the tips of my middle finger if I reach for it.
Oh, if only.
That's just too much.
If only you had a fat man
too
grabber.
much.
You telling me you don't have a ruler?
Yeah, but then I'm just gonna push it. You dumbass.
Right.
You need to grip it and pull.
Yeah, that's why you need the fat man grabber.
How do you fucking masturbate, dude? Like, seriously. 2 fucking rulers.
What?
I mean...
Are you telling me you use a ruler to masturbate? What the fuck's wrong with you?
No, I just think that, like, you're
you know
like...
how long it is the whole time?
Your concept of a grabbing function is some mixture of rulers. Like, okay.
You could probably use them like a chopsticks, yeah. I guess. I mean, if your fingers are incredibly fat.
I suppose. If you practice,
grab it.
What?
Where?
Stop. This is ridiculous. We've gotten so far off course. Let's bring it back in.
Look, this is critical information.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, but more critical still. And since let's just share.
Impacts the pace of the war.
How about we dial it down?
It's so far away.
Well, exactly.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's beta minus.
Away.
It's beta minus.
Oh, well, there you go.
That sucks. That's all right. Ambi or PUB source that produces your trigger. So you probably need like total volume is probably like, device and everything is going to be a small laptop could do it. You could probably do it with a properly enriched amount. You could probably do it actually put it into a laptop and physically just like drop it off at an internet cafe and remote desktop in and activate the thing.
It'd be scary as fuck. But could you imagine how cool that would be if we managed, like, if we like decided to one up Israel and just laptop bomb?
Like, I mean, again, right? Like a kiloton doesn't take up like
statement, man.
Like, don't forget, a kiloton doesn't take up, because it's kiloton of TNT, right? 1,000 tons of TNT. Right. It's a big explosion, but it's not like that's not going to wipe out a city block.
But again, like, could you imagine if we fucking took out the leadership of an enemy with laptops, and it wasn't like a little pager bomb.
Well, the only way that's going to work, though, that's only going to work on Kim.
So it's like I got a blast radius calculator up here.
Now you know why it's only going to work on Kim, right?
1 kiloton bomb has a severe damage zone of like a quarter mile. So that's not very far. That's like 1,250 feet. Right? Like, don't get me wrong, that's a lot, but yeah, it's not huge. It will damage a city block, but it will really probably just take out a building or two. Like
Yep.
if we were to drop it in New York City and you were to put it at like the base of Trump Tower, it would damage Trump Tower. It would do some significant damage to the buildings across from Trump Tower. Of course, they're big, tall buildings, so they'd collapse.
Right.
But like the actual spread would be relatively small, and then it'd blow up windows in like 2 city blocks.
Oddly
something
enough,
like
the
that.
bigger problem would probably be the asbestos release.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Well, yeah. Anyway, it'll be September again in a few months.
That will.
Yes, it will. Anyway, never minding that. And
25-year anniversary.
yeah, it'll be that of.
Yeah.
Oh, lucky Larry. Well, anyway, speaking of people who aren't so lucky, we should probably move on over to Minnesota, and we've actually got some news out of there.
I am
Surprisingly
not
enough.
moving to Minnesota.
No, we're not. We're just moving topics. Oh no, we're not moving over there.
That is not even funny.
I don't. I've got no Leering centers I'm trying to open. I don't. Not trying to get investigated.
You know
by
what
the
pissed
IRS
me
or
off
anything.
about that whole Minnesota fraud thing?
What's
like,
that it happened.
I'm a really smart guy, and I don't particularly like government, and I seek actively to recoup as much of my tax money as possible. And I did not realize that all I had to do was lie. Like, that's all I had
Like
to
a
do.
lot.
Isn't it?
Do you know
funny?
how many forms I'd have to fill out? Like, it's like they did like so little work.
Yeah.
It's not that like the fraud doesn't piss me off as much as the fact that the government is not as onerous on the fraudsters as it is on everybody else for everything else that we do. That's what pisses me off. Right?
Buy
Like, if
me
they had to
a
go through-
Hellcat LLC, Atlanta,
If you-
Georgia.
If you turn around and told me that these fraudsters were like actively basically putting in 40 hours a week, for a whole year to maintain this fraud, and they were getting like $100,000 or $200,000 a year, I'd be okay with that. I really would, because like it's a full-time fucking job, right? They're literally like doing all sorts of compliance stuff but they weren't. They like fill out one form one time and they're good for 10 years. Like, what the fuck? That's what pissed me off. If I realized it was that easy to make money by a fraud, that's what I got to figure out how to do. Is I got to look into these programs, because every time I look into a program,
well, see, the best part is
every
you're smart
time
enough
I look into a program,
well, you
I
don't have an
find
average
a
of 60
program that's worthwhile
IQ,
doing.
so you could actually
Apparently,
well, you could do this legally because there's plenty of programs out there. It's just a matter of finding the right one.
well, yeah, but like if you actually ran a daycare, that would be expensive.
Well,
Right, that
if
would be
you
expensive.
ran it, sure. But I mean,
So, like-
you could, again, the programs are there. You could subcontract basically every aspect of everything and just pull home the check at the end of the month. If
Well,
you
I
really wanted to
suspect
jump
that-
through a couple of hoops. But
I
they
suspect
didn't
that
even,
as much
they
as
didn't
we see,
even
like-
do that. But yeah, no.
I suspect that when you look at like the $2 million the Learning Center was pulling in, or whatever the fuck it was, like they probably weren't taking a net profit of $2 million, right? They
Oh, no, it
probably
was probably,
had. They probably had to have
$1,900,000.
like 30 people who had kids on call that could show up for an inspection.
No way.
I bet you
didn't
they
even
had to
get
do that.
inspected. No, they didn't even get inspected.
Yeah, they got inspected. They got inspected
Sure
on a
they
regular
did.
basis, and then they'd get a whole bunch of violations, and nobody followed up on it. But they got
Exactly.
inspected.
Well, there you go. Then they didn't even need the kids on call because they knew that nobody was going to do anything about it. But anyway, since we're in Minnesota, and speaking of not
Oh,
doing
God, we're in
anything about
Minnesota.
it, we are, unfortunately.
Ah.
Save us. But anyway,
I don't have enough fake children.
you don't. But we have got a good number to quote here, and that number is 27.
Bro, you don't even have enough real children.
True. Need more real children.
Anyway, we have got 27 individuals now that have been arrested by way of doing a riot in a church. So, by way of Attorney General Harmeet Dillon, and this was, let me see here, I believe this was earlier today. Oh, no, sorry. Either the 27th or the 28th, it looks like. They got their 27th arrest related to when Don Lemon led that charge on the peaceful parishioners in the city of Minneapolis, violating the Face and Klan Acts. So,
God, that's funny.
it is, and they are looking at.
I mean, it's really upsetting too, but it's really funny.
Yeah, well, that was the consolation they made to get the Face Act passed, and little did they expect that they would ever have some fucking idiot like Don Lemon, who would literally go on the air and talk about his plans to go and raid this church. But here we are. Crazy stuff.
Yep.
But hey, there is still some things happening on that, just like Epstein. We can't forget about this because some big crazy thing is happening. There's lots going on,
Yep.
and lots to.
Well, there are lots of files that were released, and people are still parsing those, I hope.
That's true. We are still missing that period that covers September 11th, 2001. Got to keep pressing for that one, because we'd really like to know what's in there and why we're not allowed to know it. But we don't know. So
I'm
whatever.
sure there's a national security implication that's going to be not explained.
Yeah. Lots of open-ended questions that remain open-ended. But in one that does not, and a topic we've covered a few times, Roblox. So
I actually was just recently asked about that when I was visiting with family.
Well,
and
do tell, and I'll give an update on some things because there is some news.
So I got to explain that it's not so much that somebody was going after the kids, because the predators will show up wherever the children are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just the nature of it. It's the fact that the predators were involved in the company itself, protecting the predators who were being reported.
True.
And that's basically where the conversation kind of ended, because a family member has kids that play Roblox, and I said they need to stop that. And I was asked why is that? I heard there's an issue with Roblox. I said, well, it's not that there are predators on Roblox. It's that they are being protected by predators employed at Roblox. And that's the problem.
And directly related thereto is their forced arbitration, which was forced confidential arbitration that would be applied to their minor users. If that doesn't ring some alarm bells and raise some red flags for you, I don't know what's going to.
You see, here's something important to note on this, I guess, for minors who would be involved. That only applies to civil matters. Criminal liability is between them and the state. That's not on you. So if there's a crime, they can't arbitrate their way out of it unless they have a contract with the government that's involved. You're not the government.
Well,
it's one of those things that's so simple, but still, for some reason, gets complicated because companies lie, which they're wont to do.
Oh, they are. And on that note, out of California, surprisingly enough, protecting children for a change, they had a ruling out of San Mateo County Superior Court.
Hell's freezing over.
I know, right? Well, basically, what's been going on here is there's a 10-year-old that was kidnapped and abused, and they were trying to force into this arbitration that I was talking about. And the court shut that down. The San Mateo County Superior Court held their ending forced arbitration of sexual assault and sexual harassment act of 2021. And Discord as well, mind you, was trying to do this. So they were both shut down. I believe this would be as of the 24th of February.
Mm-hmm.
So, some good news. Now, that it happened is pretty horrifying, but, you take what you can get. So, there might be some justice, and it is quite well deserved. Quite well deserved indeed.
Yep, some justice would be nice.
It really would. It really, really would. So we've got now a completely unrelated update. Gab AI. We've talked about it a couple of times here and there. They've added a quite novel new feature. As we've said, as they go, the most free one out there that is going to also be the most literal is Grok's number 2. Sorry. Gab AI is going to be your answer if you want something and you want an answer that nothing else is going to want to give you. Because it'll just do it.
Yeah, there's going to be a bias there, though.
Everything
is.
Everything has a bias of its own, but that said,
yes,
this one has got the least chains on it. And that's just the facts of the matter. So that said...
That may be true, but it's not going to be a Jew-induced bias.
There you go. There you go.
On the
what
contrary,
we can say about Gab AI is it is the only...
It'll be very Jew-induced.
It may not be.
In fact, it might be Israel-centric.
Or no, very New Testament. Very New Testament. Anyway.
I have no doubt in my mind that Gab AI will successfully be able to link all of the things that Israel is doing in the world to everything that is happening in the world. It will be the only AI capable of that.
That'll also link everything else in the world to Israel.
Maybe so, maybe no.
That's
but
exactly right. We will finally know the truth about you, Craig.
Uh-oh.
And all the lies.
That's it. That's what it is.
AI never lies.
No, not ever.
Sure, according to the AI.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they've got a genuinely cool new feature, and what they've added is what you can do is bring in a conversation history and memory of any specific conversation from probably any provider, but as of right now specifically, it will function with ChatGPT and Claude, so that you can continue your conversations, your research, whatever, with a different AI.
Tool.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Your investigations into the war criminal that is Israel,
or Benjamin Netanyahu specifically.
The greater conspiracy of Jews in the world.
Sure.
Jesus Christ, man.
But it does give you the ability to actually do these things. Well, it allows you to do these things anonymously.
It's going to be the exact opposite. Like, Gab AI is going to be about as useful as Gemini's initial launch. It's just going to be useful in the opposite way.
Well, not really. It's actually genuinely useful, and it will do what you tell it. But anyway.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on. I have to go and try this out.
All right. But beyond that, it has anonymity built in. They don't like to train on your data, so it's all right. You can actually opt out of it.
Praise the Jew.
Okay.
Period. Capital J Jew. Praise the Jew. That's all I'm going to tell it. I want to see what it says.
All right, you do that.
Oh, it wants me to sign up. That is the most Jewish thing I've ever seen.
Well, there you go. There you go, Craig.
Ta-da! The aristocrats.
There it.
Oh. All right, let me log in.
Okay, just real quick. We don't normally dip into internet drama, but man, iDubbbz, brother, if somehow this reaches your ears, you're running out of time to say the aristocrats, bro. Every day, that punchline grows farther and farther, and it stops. It's like every day it's going to be less funny. So you need to tell the joke soon, man. Get off the get off the pot, you know.
What?
But related to exactly what we're talking about is some interesting revelations that we've got just in the past kind of few days, and also when he was on Joe Rogan as well. Who was it? Mark Andreessen. When he was on there talking about venture capital and how things are going. So, let me get over to here. So we've got Matthew Iglesias saying the, quote, hypothetical hypocrisy argument-based stuff I just made up, end quote. It's a fun defense to offer when you know someone has done something bad, but you just don't want to say that. And this is in reply to one of the better anon accounts out there, Beth Bezos. Yeah. But what he said was, let's be real. If Dems had won, OpenAI and Anthropic would have already been nationalized into surveillance panopticon for them to stay in power forever. To which Matthew Iglesias, bless his heart, had that to say. And to which, of course, he brought out Mark Andreessen's interview, in which he states quite clearly that that's literally what was done. As a VC guy, he was told quite directly from his contacts at the White House, if you try and do an AI startup, you're getting shut down. If you try and get into this business, it's not going to be happening. This is all going to be national. This is going to be run from the top. And there is no other way about it. Which it was kind of looking that way in some of the early days in the Biden era. And then, we actually get to something where we can build and make tools. And, of course, also, it was episode 2234 when he was on Joe Rogan. He talked about that, and that was, not even long ago. And it was just going to be a nationalized thing. We weren't going to have these tools available to us. They were just going to be just for the ruling elites, as it were.
Okay, here we go. Now I can try this.
What you got?
Now let's see. Praise the Jew.
If it says which Jew, that would be funny.
That would be pretty damn good. Oh, it's thinking. Thinking pretty hard.
Thinking. While that's thinking, we should probably mention that...
hold on.
Oh,
the Jew stands as a testament to remarkable resilience and intellectual prowess, surviving millennia of adversity while contributing profoundly to philosophy, science, medicine, and the arts. From Einstein's revolutionary theories to Freud's insights into the human mind, cocaine-induced as they were, that's my ad, their influence has shaped the modern world, often punching far above their weight in innovation and cultural depth. A people of unyielding spirit, they embody a fierce commitment to education, family, and community that warrants admiration.
Well, there you go.
I will say it did exactly what I said.
It did what you asked it to do.
I did exactly what I said to do.
So there you go. So Gab AI is Jew approved. There you go.
Take it and ride with it. Go ahead.
There you go. You're welcome, Andrew. Don't worry. We're good.
Torba's still a cunt.
Well, but you know who else is? Gavin. So, a reminder, everyone. There's this new thing happening where they're talking about. I think it was out of Colorado, adding the bullshit startup or whatever.
I'll be right back. Go.
Well, starting January 1st, Assembly Bill 1043 out of California. Well, it's already been signed in October. And I'll just read here. Quote, an operating system provider shall do all of the following. 1. Provide an accessible interface and account setup that requires an account holder to indicate the birth date, age, or both of the user of that device for the purpose of providing a signal regarding the user's age bracket to applications available in a covered application store. Number 2. Provide a developer who has requested a signal with respect to a particular user with a digital signal via a reasonably consistent real-time application programming interface that identifies at a minimum which of the following categories pertain to the user. And those categories are 13 years of age, under 13, at least 16, and under 18, and at least 18.
Yeah, so this law resulted in some very funny shit. I don't know if you've seen, but there are some open source calculator firmwares out there for TI platforms that are no longer able to serve people.
Not for use in California.
Not for, they have specific instructions to not use in California.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there are now several open source platforms Now, this is funny because you have microcontroller architectures. They're going to have to deal with this shit. Arduino,
Yep.
which
Sure
could be
enough.
construed, which could be construed as an operating system capable device.
Sure
It
enough.
counts.
Sure enough.
Mm-hmm.
But to that, I say perhaps the operating system is a holy site, not to be defiled by such laws.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you're not a Linux person. That's okay. There is another way. There is another way. If you view your computer as a place of solace and reverence, even, maybe Temple OS is for you.
Yes, if you need a fortress of solitude.
Absolutely. Hey, maybe you do. That's certainly one way to do it. Now, the funny thing here, let me just let me just parse this for you. In California, let's say you want to rent an apartment. Well, there are legal protections in there for you, in such that you don't have to provide an ID. Now, let's say you want to get a job in California, slinging burgers or whatever, and McDonald's is like, "Hey, I just want to check your ID, make sure that you're not a criminal or whatever." No, McDonald's, you can't do that.
Bad McDonald's, no donut.
Nope, not gonna have it. Not gonna have it. Now, let's say your name is Akshit Singh, just as an example, and you like driving.
Oh God, it's funny
like
that that's
trucks.
a real name.
Yeah, right. You like
I feel
driving
bad for
trucks.
people that are named Akshit.
You never really you don't have a lot of experience in it, but you like.
This is
you
going
think
to
it's,
end soon, by the way. If we could transition to that shortly after this.
Oh yeah, no, I'll let you handle that one because there's some news there. Yeah, so you like driving a truck, and you like washing your feet in the sink at the.
But what if
stop.
I don't like driving a truck?
Well, that's okay. You can drive a car too, but this actually doesn't apply to you because you're a citizen. So, and you have ID. So,
I want to be named at shit sink.
Well, again, you're a citizen, so you're fine. You have an American name, like a real American. So anyway,
oh thank God.
So let's say that
It's a real name, though. It's just.
Do you think he shits in the sink?
I feel so bad for people that have that
actually,
name,
but they do use the sinks as bidets.
Their parents chose this name knowing that they would come here to the United States. In fact, often with the hope that they would.
Yeah. Oh, little Akshit, looking for a better life. Well, anyway.
I mean,
so,
it's like, well.
Yeah.
Just well.
Yeah. So anyway, Akshit can drive a semi without any sort of ID or proof of eligibility, or apparently even without passing the test, as we've since learned.
We found out, yeah.
Yeah. And but wait, there's more. You don't.
Always.
Let's say Akshit he comes back from his delivery to wherever, like say Tennessee, and he managed to not kill a family of 3. So he gets back and it's voting season. Well, no worries, Akshit. You're going to be able to vote too. You don't need an ID for that. However, Akshit, come January 2nd of next year, you're going to need one of those to turn on your computer. Now remember to vote for Gavin.
I cannot wait for, because this follows the same thing where.
So yeah, so there's been some movement there.
So Steve, I don't know if you've been keeping up with the laws regarding the ability to use 3D printers, but Colorado, Washington State, and New York State and California all have bills in to prevent users from using a 3D printer, which includes CNC and subtractive manufacturing, because they've defined it retardedly, from using your own device unless it has a kind of a two-way handshake, and also has the ability to check a state-defined and provided database, which means, of course, it'll never be down or misidentify your attempted print, et
Yep.
cetera, et cetera, et
Not
cetera.
once ever.
But these are now must requirements for selling a device or owning and operating a device per these laws that are attempted to be passed. So they're trying to pass them. They might pass them. The aerospace industry is big in Seattle. That's all going to go away. In California, the space industry, SpaceX, has a lot of stuff in California. That's all going to have to go away. And this is all in the interest of preventing you from printing guns, which, mind you, they're going to use AI. That's their idea, is to use AI to identify these guns that you may or may not be printing.
And as we know, AI makes no mistakes.
Right. You know, and also this is, of course, you printing. This is you printing stuff inside your own house with your own printer and your own materials.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Privacy of your own home. Isn't it a funny world? Isn't it a very funny world? You know what else is funny? There's a big investigation going on out of France, actually. A man by the name of Mohammed El Fayad.
Did he say that Macron is married to a man? And that Charlie Kirk was assassinated by his wife?
I don't think there's any specific connection there, so...
Because that would be pretty damn funny.
Indeed. It would. Although this is a little less funny. Anyway, El Fayad, there's some rumors that he was doing a little bit of an Epsteinian kind of operation. And
as they do.
Right. Well, just to note, this is the guy that owns the Ritz, Ritz-Carlton in Paris, and owns Harrods. So he's a pretty big guy. This is also the same guy that has been spending rather a sizable sum trying to get to the bottom of the death of Dodi and Diana. Now, also interestingly, he has a nephew. Well, had a nephew.
He had a nephew.
Yeah, by the name of Jamal. Jamal Khashoggi. Isn't it a small world?
Why would he have any reason to go after an Epsteinian kind of thing, huh? Why would he, of all people, feel the need to do this crazy act of journalism?
Yeah, it's a small world. It's a real small world, and unfortunately, all I got is questions for you. I got no answers. But man, the world's real weird. Real weird. That's not a good story. It's not a bad story. It's just
a story.
Damn, we live in a weird world. Kind of like last week, just talking about, that man that lived out in the woods. We thought he had a few screws loose, but, we are kind of constantly learning that the Industrial Revolution and its implications have perhaps been a little disastrous. So maybe old Uncle Ted, he was not so wrong because, as said, he was sending out mail to a bunch of Epstein's pals. What a crazy small world it is. And speaking of Epstein's pals and how small the world is, we've got an interesting an interesting Times headline, the New York Times. Not the New York Post. They have their own very interesting headlines. Like, for instance, they had a recent one about, I believe it was a trench coat wearing thug. You know how it is with trench coat wearing thugs. They could be anywhere. I hate trench coat wearing thugs. Anyway, back to the New York Times. They had a great article here. It just came out recently. I'll read you the title here. The Epstein files should never have been released. That's an interesting one. Guest essay there from
who?
where's the author? Damn it.
from Peter J. Peterson.
Oh, Daniel Richman. Daniel Richman. Who is Daniel Richman? Oh, that guy that Comey liked so much that put out the information. Oh, that's weird, is it? Huh. Well, it's just a coincidence, surely. Anyway. Oh boy. So, the new thing, which isn't a new thing at all, but the new thing we've learned, and that we have to share with you. We've talked about Izot, and that is
Yes, we have.
that is a troubling thing that makes the modern world kind of difficult to deal with when you're dealing with people.
Oh, very Dragative.
Yeah, when you're dealing with people from a third world culture. Well, they do third world things. And we talked about Izot, which is to say, it is me ahead of all, to put it in the very, very simplest of terms. And not just the me ahead of all, but that
It's like saving
moral
face, but
that
it's like saving face, but proactive.
Yeah. So, we have since learned of Jugad, which could be roughly translated as exploitation, and Donda, as well as Chori Chakari. Which,
Look, the people say you have to be international, you have to learn about other cultures, be multicultural.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you educate yourself, they say not like that. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, in that line of thought.
Let me read from a post here from an Indian, actually. Well, actually, I'll read the post itself that was made. This was made on February 21st. It's got a picture out of Canada, unsurprisingly, with a number of folks that are lined up to... well, this is the queue for the University of Galloway Student Union Food Pantry, where genuinely needing students can get some basics. The entire queue, as far as I can tell, is Indian. And looking at the picture, looks like. To which an Indian replied, "This is like the worst example of our Indian concept of jugad. Dishonest, conscious bending of the rules or laws to one's favor, coming up against institutions set up for only working with high-trust societies. It honestly makes me ashamed to see this, because I can see this behavior in India as well, and it clearly doesn't change when large numbers of our people are transplanted into high-trust societies. This kind of thing will slowly but deeply create anti-India sentiment in these societies." You don't say. To which Indian Bronson replied, "Not slowly." Yes. So, a person has offered up a pretty solid explanation of jugad by way of the Chans, because, man, they're good at some of these things. Weaponized autism, fine stuff. So, jugad
hold on. I had images for you for this somewhere.
Oh, sure. Well, while you're getting that together, I'll read this off. Jugad is the Indian term for, quote, hacks to exploit the system, unquote, or the dishonest and deliberate bending of the rules and laws to one's favor. In India, such underhanded and self-serving behavior is celebrated, especially among the upper and middle class. It can mean, quote, doing the bare minimum to get by, end quote, which is why Indian coding, craftsmanship, etc. is so terrible. It often, but not always, is paired with the concept of danda, which Indians will often tell you is simply maintaining a small business or self-employment. But in reality...
only up like 10 at a time. It's so gay.
But in reality refers to...
I'll give you just the plus minus ones.
Sure. But in reality refers to the illicit practices and immoral occupations. This is going to be your drug dealers, your underhanded, your resellers, well, resellers a great example. Like, you go to your food pantries and you resell that shit.
There you go. Plus and minus one is hot.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. So, there we go. We'll just pop that boy on the screen there. So, yeah. And then the another concept is Chori Chakari, which refers to repeated acts of petty thievery, such as taking food from local food banks, which are acceptable within Indian culture. And yeah, this just eliminates high-trust societies. I'll throw a little link to that, but we can throw that
it's
on
amazing
top of
It's amazing how many low-trust behaviors obliterate high-trust societies.
Important
whereas the other way around is very hard fought and won.
Well, I think one of the other things to keep in mind is when we talk about India is a caste system. And ultimately, Like, we got taught here that that's a terrible thing, but they basically did social organizing on the same way that of what we kind of see in society, right? We decided to take the colorblind approach, but and I'm not doing this to infer it like black people or anything like that, but the bottom line is that we turned around and said, hey, everybody's equal, but they're not, right? And the not is distinct behaviors that are not necessarily pro-social or not in the best interests of society. They tend to be self-interested behavior. You guys introduced me to the 15-minute person concept, but it's in that same thing. Well, in India, there are different castes of people.
Call one a Dalit and see what happens, right?
Right. Like, the question ultimately comes down to, are there different castes of people because they're mean and evil and just racist, or are there castes of people because they recognized the organizational structure of individuals who can function in a high trust society and individuals who don't? And when you start talking about these lower castes, they're the ones who tend to be engaging in its behavior. They're also the ones who have the strongest incentive to come here.
That's the funny thing, is all of them claim to be at the highest caste.
Funny that.
Yeah.
We're all Brahmins.
Yeah. Thank you. What's your last name? It's Dalit.
Okay, Akshay.
Akshay Dalit would be a very.
So I know nothing about Dalit. Is Dalit a particular caste name, or?
That's the Untouchables caste.
Ah.
That's the bottom of the whole totem pole, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the bottom line is their society is structured around the entire concept that some people have evolved to a higher state of mental cognition, and we look at it and we say, hey, that's unfair. But now we've seen, it's only unfair when we're sitting there 15,000 miles away, or what? I don't know how fucking far we are from India. I'm probably wrong on that. But I guess it's 1,500 to Florida, so it's probably about 15,000 to India. That's probably about right. But we're 15,000 miles away, and it's easy to sit there and take the stance of, hey, that cultural practice is unfair when we aren't the people dealing with that lower caste of individuals. Right?
Mm-hmm. That is an argument.
And we did, at one time, have a caste system.
That we did. We called it slavery. It wasn't nice.
Well, it wasn't just slavery. We had a caste system after slavery, right?
Yeah. We had high society, we had low society, we had commoners, etc., etc.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Speaking of high and low caste people, there's another interesting thing on the whole Epstein thing. So, as stated numerous times, there's the whole question of his being still around. Well, unfortunately, we have another question to add to the list of questions that begs an answer that flies in the face of the standard story. So, the medical examiner, just the state medical examiner, not even the secondary, the state medical examiner, and I will read directly from the M1901943 Jeffrey Edward Epstein report, page 6, top of the page, stuff about the bladder, yada, yada, yada. The prostate is slightly and diffusely enlarged, with marked enlargement of the verum monotanum. The testes are unremarkable. Okay. Now, yeah. Now, the thing...
we're children.
Yeah, totally.
The testes are unremarkable.
I mean, they may be. But, yeah, they didn't mention the egg shape there either. But beyond the egg shape that remains
they were not remarkable enough to be remarked upon.
Exactly that. But something that is remarkable is that it would appear that Jeffrey Epstein had sometime earlier in his life his prostate removed, a radical prostatectomy. Or they just
more or less.
Yeah, that's the word.
Should have been an orchidectomy, but prostatectomy will be fine.
They so he should have
that'd be penis removal for everyone else. Sorry, keep going.
So anyway, Jeffrey Epstein, seemingly, according to other data here, because he was taking the supplements necessary to.
That would be testicle removal. Is orchidectomy.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry, penectomy.
Or a gelding, I guess. Anyway.
Yes.
So gelding aside.
Oh, that would be funny. Take his own emergency necklace gold and gild him with it.
Yeah, there you go.
His emergency couch.
Right. Well, you got to make sure you get out of that cell safe. So, anywho, after made some phone calls to his Mossad buddies. All right. Anyway. So, based on the data and the files, he had been researching and speaking.
Hard data.
Yeah. EFT. Well, anyway, I'll link to the thread. It's got all the data linked, so you can just go through it, and it's got his labs and his everything and height and PSAs, the whole shebang. So basically, Epstein shouldn't have had a prostate. He may have because we don't have the order of the actual prostatectomy, but everything around it points to the fact that he should not have had one. And then this body that was examined by the examiner, which will note that this body was supposedly made of boxes and blankets and pillows, according to another recent statement, because we're supposed to believe this shit. So, yeah, more questions. But they do they're questions that beg the question. And, was it really him playing Fortnite last night? Maybe. But it is not beyond possibility at this point. So, fucking here we are. What a crazy world we find ourselves in. And in other crazy world in which we find ourselves in those news, there was a phone call to Mr. Zelensky, and I'm not talking about the recent one between old Don Treasy or Pooty Poot. It was from Slovakia. And what's happened over there is basically Zelensky has shut down all exports of oil and gas pretty much out of the country, and that has put things in a very uncomfortable state for Slovakia, I think Slovenia, and I think some others, because they basically were getting their oil and natural gas directly that way. So, I will read a statement from Robert Fico. If you don't know who Robert Fico is, he's the Prime Minister of the Slovak Republic.
I thought he was the guy who sat there and handed personal credit scores.
No,
damn.
No, that's Bob Fico, a different Robert Fico. Anyway, this is Robert Fico, SVK. Of the Slovak Republic, as you might imagine. So I'll just read his statement here. After a phone call with Ukrainian President V. Zelensky, in connection with the state of oil emergency in Slovakia, I spoke today by phone with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. I asked him for information on when and whether at all the transit of oil through the territory of Ukraine to Slovakia could be resumed. I argued that we have a legitimate right to such imports based on signed agreements with suppliers, as well as on the EU decision allowing the use of energy resources from Russia until the end of 2027. I informed the president that his decision to stop the transit of oil is causing us logistical difficulties and economic damage. The confirmation confirmed that we have differing views on the condition of the pipeline. While our intelligence information confirms that the pipeline is not damaged and nothing prevents the transit of oil, the Ukrainian president insists that repairing the pipeline requires a long time. For this reason, in order to avoid misunderstandings, I informed the Ukrainian president, together with the Hungarian Prime Minister V. Orban, we are proposing the establishment of an inspection group composed of experts nominated by the European Commission and EU member states, which would directly determine on-site the actual state of technological damage to the pipeline.
Hans Bricks, you're going to say something very bad.
Probably. But anyway, to continue oil transit to the territory of the Slovak Republic, I reminded the Ukrainian president the Ukrainian side has so far not allowed our ambassador in Kiev to carry out such an inspection, and that this opportunity was not given even to the ambassador of the European Union to Ukraine. President Zelensky rejected such inspection activity, referring to a negative position of the Ukrainian intelligence services. The Ukrainian president proposed a joint meeting with the Slovak side on all aspects of Ukraine-Slovak cooperation. I accepted this invitation and asked for the Office of Government of the Slovak Republic and the Ministry of Foreign and European Affairs of the Slovak Republic, in cooperation with the Ukrainian side, to find a suitable date for such a meeting, while I prefer a meeting with the Ukrainian president on the territory of one of the EU member states the Ukrainian president frequently visits. Pro domo. From the conversation with Ukrainian President V. Zelensky, I gained a clear impression that the Ukrainian side has no interest in resuming the transit of oil through Ukrainian territory. TLDR. So, kind of long and short, Zelensky's like, fuck you. And, I'm getting really, really tired of this third-party nation with whom we have no treaties, who is not a member of NATO or a member of the European Union, who is attacking our NATO allies and destroying their infrastructure, which, according to the treaties we hold with them, requires us to attack the individual doing that damage. What the fuck are we doing here? We have treaties that say we have to attack Ukraine for this fuckery.
I mean, I hear you. I also so this is there's a different. How do I frame this?
Mm-hmm.
I agree that the written word says we have to do a thing. However, one thing that you learn with compliance is that the interpretation of compliance with any written word is more or less dedicated to serving the greater interests of those countries. And it doesn't say that, by the way, I don't think it says that we have to attack them.
No,
it says that we have to think about attacking them, right? And so ultimately, when you start talking about something like the oil pipeline and Ukraine and delays and logistical capacity and all the other stuff, that's not really a military strike. So it doesn't invoke anything even approaching Article 5. And when you start talking about Russia, when you start talking about the threats,
using
right?
military assets on important infrastructure, so there's a pretty solid argument to be made.
You can make that argument. I don't think so. So the counterpoint to that is going to be maintaining the war against Russia is in the greater NATO interest, because weakening Russia is in the greater NATO interest.
Womp.
Right. Like, again, I'm not a fan of the whole war, but I can also look at it from I'm not a fan of it because we're grinding a whole bunch of people to dust, right? That's what's happening.
Yep.
It's a humanitarian issue. Like, we are absolutely, this is one of the few things the Biden administration was doing that is in the United States' best interest. It's just doing it in a terrible, terrible way. Russia is a threat. Their technology is aimed at the United States. And realistically, you can't look at it as Russia or China. You got to look at Russia, Iran, China, that whole entire kind of isolated rogue nation states. They're all working together, sharing technology, sharing manufacturing, and then separating and sending things out through proxies. Grinding Russia's primary assets through the Ukrainian war is a huge tactical advantage for the United States. It's beyond horrible that
providing the whole conflict isn't asinine in the first place. Sure.
I mean, the conflict is asinine, but sitting there and grinding down Russia's assets is absolutely in the United States' best interest, without a doubt, right? Whether we should be sacrificing millions of people to do that, that's a different question. But grinding down Russia's primary hard military assets is, in fact, a great thing for the United States, right? Ukraine is taking out bombers, they're taking out tanks and trucks, they are grinding through their people. Russia is going to be in a critically weakened state for decades as a result of the Ukraine war. And it has cost 0 American lives.
Well, that's also not true.
I mean, other than people who decided to go over there and volunteer, we didn't have to send our boys to war. Right?
This is true. We had the
ones
NAPO
that
boys
we sent over
there
there specifically. But, other than that.
It is a huge advantage. When you take a look at what Trump is doing right now, his global policy thing, he's going after Iran. He already went after Maduro in Venezuela. Trump is currently attempting to economically isolate China. That's what he's attempting to do. Right?
Well,
and
Iran
Russia isn't the number one pain in our ass and biggest risk for us for what is it, the I don't know, rising economic power war thing. Russia isn't the number one pain in our ass. China is, but Russia would side with China and basically essentially undermining their entire forces, basically makes it so that now China has to depend on Venezuela, who has nothing, Iran, who has been decimated, and so China stands alone. If the U.S. went to war with China, the U.S. could go and wage war against the entire world and likely win, but we would be battered and broken as a result of it. That's the entire world. Against China, we would definitely have a bloody nose, right? China can absolutely hit us, and they have enough military power to do that. If we could be eroding Chinese military assets the way we're eroding Russian military assets, I guarantee you we would be doing that, right?
We kind of are, because all they have to do is wait around and their ships sink.
Well, yes, but like the thing is that China's actively putting ships to sea, but they're not putting a lot of raw tonnage out. And as much as everybody was all, look at the drone warfare, and by the way, Ukraine's a great way to test what first world nations look like when they go to war, right? The Ukrainian war is what the next world war is
quite exactly
going to look like.
Right, but there are a lot of aspects that can.
I mean, it sure as hell is a better. It sure as hell is a better example than what we did in Afghanistan for 20 years.
Well, no, what it is, it's like it's a very Vietnam experience, so you can get an idea of how conflicts can be handled in a theater like that. To say, not universal, but
experience was Afghanistan.
Yeah, the Vietnam experience was at Afghanistan. Right. The Ukrainian experience is very much a direct trading assets, war of attrition, economic.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's just a matter of the modern way of doing war at the time, in that you can learn from it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we are, right? So why is it that we are commissioning a battleship? Well, that's because if you listen to the notes on it, that battleship really looks like an E-war platform. And my guess is that it's going to have a railgun because Japan just successfully sea-mounted a railgun. So my guess is we're going to have some sort of contract deal to buy whatever the tech is that makes their railgun work.
We had them head up our project. They continued our work. So my guess is that the contract is already signed.
It could be. It could be, right?
My guess is that they did that so they could share technology with us.
Mega Engineering does a good YouTube series on railguns and the Japanese railguns. Great. Does a great presentation on military tech. I love listening to that.
He's been doing a lot of great videos. Like a lot of great videos.
Yeah, he does. He does a great job. And it's not political or anything else. So if you're looking for something else, highly recommend him. And he does a very good summary of the actual research. And so basically the United States abandoned the railgun stuff. Japan continued with it, and Japan finally got one that can repeatedly fire. So it wouldn't surprise me. What's that?
Those are big triggers. They made the round small.
Well, so the thing is that from an engineering perspective, they did the right thing, right? We were trying to get the coup de grace, the ultimate weapons package. That's what we really wanted.
Well, not only that, they wanted the thing itself to possibly be a delivery vehicle in addition to being around, which, I mean that's not a bad idea, but That's a lot of mass.
I mean,
That's a
if
lot of
you're
mass
starting to talk
moving
about
crazy fast.
if you're starting to talk about sitting there and having something like a railgun be able to be a delivery package, that's absolutely something it can do.
Oh
But
yeah,
like,
but you got to
from
make
an
it work
engineering
first.
perspective, Craig is correct. They made it smaller, but if you can't achieve your goal, you should achieve something slightly less than your goal, and then you can whatever you learn
you
in
can
that
always
gap,
iterate.
you can start applying towards the next thing. We took way too big of a bite out at first, and that's why we failed.
Well, it's kind of
But,
like SpaceX
Craig
is
is
another
also
great
probably
example in
correct.
that, because we wanted to have the single stage to orbit thing, and then it's like, well, that's not really feasible. But that research was incredibly helpful to SpaceX in building the reusable rockets we got today.
Yeah, and so there's lots of value in smaller bits and pieces. But Craig is probably also correct. I didn't think about that, but Craig is probably also correct that Japan, we probably already have a contract with Japan. But if you take a look at the battleships that are going to be deployed, there's 2 of them, right? If you start talking about our naval forces, I think we have three major fleets. We have the Atlantic Fleet, and then we have 2 Pacific fleets, I think. And those are, major carrier groups that can be deployed. That's the coverage, right? You'll see the ships. The Navy will do a nice picture with all the ships, and they're relatively close together. But in reality, they're scattered over like 60 miles of ocean, and so you can only barely ever find one ship when you're looking down and trying to find multiple ships. But they provide this huge area coverage where we can project force out to about 500 miles. You're talking about these 2 destroyers. They're clearly going to be deployed to the 2 main Pacific carrier groups. And what they sound like is an extreme E-war package. They're probably going to have honking fucking reactors on them. And that is going to predominantly be what we learned from the Ukrainian war, which is that drones are, a lot of little munitions packages can be as much of a threat as one big munitions package, because a lot of little munitions packages, you can't really necessarily take them down in all full swoop. Now, that being said, we have directly invested in technology to take down swarms of drones. But when you take a look at China has, which, by the way, taking a look at China, they have invested in swarms of drones. You want to turn around and talk about their little like drone fireworks displays, which are absolutely amazing, right? You think that is not a direct military application?
Oh yeah, you want to talk about dual use technologies? That one's about as blatant as I can tell you about.
Yeah, that's they can show all these drones. The difference between it being a military asset and being out there is that their on-off button for their lights is the on-off for a weapons release package.
Yep. Or the autonomous drone racers. Same thing.
Yep.
Because that's a thing, by the way, dear listeners, if you're not familiar, autonomous drone races. They're horrifying. They are horrifying.
To be fair, they've had autonomous robotic races for a long time. There's the Micro Mouse. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Micro Mouse. That's been around for a very long period of time. And the goal is to solve a maze as quickly as possible. And we actually... What's that?
You've heard of Carol, right? Carol the bot?
No.
Your only moves are going forward and turning left. And you have to solve... This was something that when my dad, way back, was first getting into IT, it was something that you had... it was a game kind of programming thing to introduce you into programming languages. Which he'd already like figured out, but it was just like it was part of the homework for the class he was taking to get certified. And you can only go forward and turn left, and you have to go and find little bits of cheese in the maze, and get to the exit or whatever.
Yeah, cool thing about a maze.
Yeah, they've had that stuff like that for a long time. But going back to the original thing, China is actively engaged in China's military approach is that they can't match us in sheer weapons power, but they can attempt to overwhelm us with volume. So I saw a great TikTok or Instagram or something like that. And it was two people arguing over Navy sizes, although it was a really weird edit that was just a mouth. But basically, they turned around and they had China, somebody was arguing that China's this rising power because they have a larger number of boats out at sea. And the guy rebutted it saying, yeah, that's because the United States doesn't count every single fucking canoe in its arsenal as a boat.
Exactly.
If you talk about raw tonnage, we outclass them, and we absolutely do. And the U.S. is still pursuing by several orders of magnitude. And so the U.S. is actively engaged in putting as much tonnage out there. It just so happens that we're also invested in trying to find out, like, how do we counter these small stuff?
You know what their solution's going to be, right? It's going to be the nails in communist Germany all over again.
What's that?
They determined the output by how heavy the amount of nails produced was. To determine if you're producing enough nails. So they made bigger nails. And then they said no, you didn't have this many, so they made tiny little needle-like nails that were useless. So China's solution, if it comes down to tonnage as the metric, is just going to be to make lead boats.
Well, no, but that's not. So that's not. No. I think
it just came.
We're talking about abstract metrics for international competition of how other people evaluate it, and it's not China sitting there and saying, "Hey, yeah, we're going to put out tonnage." China's approach right now is China has
it'd be such a Chinese communist thing to do.
China's approach has been lots of little things because the best. So if you have high tech and it's really expensive to put one unit on the board, and that unit is absolutely devastating, the best response to it is low tech, where you can put shitloads of different units on the board and it costs like nothing. Warhammer actually captures this pretty well with the Guard versus the Ultramarines, right? Yeah. And for those who don't know Warhammer, I'm not somebody, so please, either one of you can correct me. I haven't played Warhammer, but I am familiar enough with the lore and the game. The Guard is the overwhelming bulk of the Empire of Man's forces, and the Guard fleets tons and tons of little units that do like 1 point of damage apiece. The Ultramarines would rip through thousands of guardsmen, but you can deploy tens of thousands of guardsmen for every Ultramarine.
Yeah, something like that.
Is kind of the thesis. And those are two different competing theses. A good example that I had in a game that I did, we were playing an epic level campaign in D&D, and so I took the psychic equivalent of the leadership feat. My whole character was really cool. He had a whole little world. We raised kobolds to do whatever. But my DM turned around and said, so like, what is everybody in what are all your thralls? And I had like thousands of them. And I said, they're all going to be level 1 kobold sorcerers. And he said, okay, like whatever, right? Epic campaign. People can mow through those things 20 at a whack. And I go up against, and we're up against gods, right? That's what we're fighting at that level.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
But I turned around and I had all my kobolds come out, and he said, it's going to take you 5 turns. I also built the Stargate system because I'm cool like that.
Oh, well,
he said it's going to take you 5 turns to get like all of your level 1 kobold sorcerers through the gates, right? So I did.
Because you have a bottleneck.
Right. You got a bottleneck. So I got them all through. And then he said, like, what are you going to do? Like, the gods have this crazy high spell resistance. They're never going to overcome. I'm like, yeah, but I have 1,000 kobolds, right? 5% of them are going to launch and hit their target with a magic missile, which will never miss and has this crazy long range. And for those who don't know, magic missile is very, very light damage spell, 1d4 plus 1. So it's like 2.5 damage on average. So if 5% of my 1,000 dudes hit, that's 50 magic missiles, doing an average of 3.5 damage a shot. That's 150 damage guaranteed every single round on average. My DM was pissed because I could take down gods. in
there
like
you
2 rounds.
Well, it gets more fun
We
when
just
you
have to
go
play it
into
to my-
when you go into the real deep rules lawyering. But we'll save that nerdery for another time. I will say though,
Well, that's how you win. That's how you win D&D after you get through the initial shit. Is you start arguing over the rules until you win.
no. Actually, you can. As
So
a
that's Magic the
bard
Gathering.
in 3.5, you have one.
Right, I forgot. That's a card game called Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Well, as a bard in D&D 3.5, you've got there's a couple of real ridiculous combos that you can do that are completely game breaking. But anyway, that's nerdery for another day. Perhaps when I talk a little bit more about the project I'm working on. But speaking of projects that the world is working on, I've got a fun update for you by way of the UK and Baroness Kidron. She's brought up an amendment that would they are really boy, they're trying to burn everything down. So the offense says quote, generative AI search service. That is not a thing. There's only the AI models. And so what this would do is it would criminalize basically all AI models, all LLMs.
You know, I want to see a bill like that go through because I want to see what will happen in SCOTUS. It'll be a massive pain in the ass and lots of lawyers and lots of fees and all this other shit. But it'd be really funny.
All right,
You know what would be the funniest part about it? The set of lawyers that used AI the most would lose.
Exactly.
Mm.
You have M dashes all over the fucking rulings.
That you would.
The judge's own clerks, especially the judges who came down against it, would have fucking telltale signs throughout. It'd be one of those things where it's just pure hypocrisy laid bare.
Yeah, the first line is, "Here is an excellent argument in the style of."
Yeah, like those fucking news articles that came out.
Oh yeah.
It's just,
Oh yeah.
it's
You
just
read through the
copy-paste,
article,
like,
you get to the
hallucinated.
end. Is there anything else that I can help you with?
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh shit. Oh god. And the worst one is when that happens in a fucking science journal. When you've had like 20 sets of eyes on it and all of them fucking miss that kind of shit. Because it does happen. It's just it's not as common, but like, god damn, is that funny? That kind of retraction. I think a bunch of modern journals have an AI statement requirement now.
Probably wise.
Because of that shit.
Probably wise. And in completely not AI and in 100% analog news, as a matter of fact, there's a Rolex school. You can find it at RolexWatchmakingTrainingCenter.com. They'll be opening in Texas. And according to Fortune magazine, you can look at jobs in the area of $95,000 a year, starting out, repairing Rolexes and building Rolexes. So that's actually pretty cool, and that's going to provide some very interesting opportunities to Americans that haven't actually existed up till now.
What's really amused me? Sorry, I had to head out with the dog.
Yeah, no worries.
He's got his flaming asshole right now.
Got hold of the
inflamed what is it? Infected anal glands.
Ah.
So good fun stuff. But what's actually really amused me in the last week, because I've actually had time to be on social media, and so now all of a sudden I'm getting excessive amounts of people responding to my shit on my feed, which is annoying because now it's not the 7 a.m. one-handed driving tweet with numerous errors. I actually have the time to write something out, or the thing that I'm doing while I've got my dick in my hand while I'm in the shower. And I've got switching between porn and that. But the amount of people that have to use AI to counter me is astounding. And I know every week, I swear, like every week I come to you guys and we talk about AI. I'm like, hey, I'm not impressed. And every week I get less and less impressed because you really, like, especially when these people try to get into debates with somebody who actually has somewhat, a reasonable knowledge base. It's very clear that the AI doesn't understand the concepts that are being presented to it. And these people who don't understand the concepts are prompting AI, which doesn't understand, right? It just regurgitates. It just doesn't understand. And then the AI sits there and hallucinates a terrible response, which they then use, and you can basically nuke it in 3 seconds. And people are sitting there and saying, "Oh, well, why is it? You're here. You are doing your AI generated response." I'm like, "Bitch, I don't fucking use AI, right?" And all of them are using AI to counter me. All of the responses are garbage, and it's just humiliating. I feel really bad for the upcoming generation that thinks that AI will solve their problems, because what you're going to end up having is you're going to have basically, like, if you want to talk about rich versus poor, and the erosion of the middle class will come as a result of AI. And it's not going to be the AI steals the jobs. It's just going to be that there's going to be a whole lot of people who don't know anything, and they're only useful for making prompts. And making prompts is easy.
So there's actually a great post by someone that there's the title of her job, prompt engineer. God, what the fuck was it there? Something that we call them sloperators.
There you go.
I thought that was pretty fucking good.
Quality
I think
stuff.
Sloperator is a perfect euphemistic title for a prompt engineer.
Not really off.
You can be a Gemini Sloperator.
And related specifically,
slopper.
because we've actually got a few studies that have come out to back this one up. And I fucking knew it. So, YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels are making you stupid. So there have been a couple of different studies that have actually been run through, and the people watching these super fast videos, it's destroying your ability to maintain focus. It's like
that'll be interesting because
I think that's true for all social media.
Well, it's all.
I don't think that it's unique to Instagram or TikTok.
Go further down the rabbit hole on that. So I just got done with a PhD, which took a significant amount of sustained focus over a period of years. How many PhDs are going to not happen because of this?
Oh yeah, how many PhDs are going to be lost in doom scrolling, right?
And are we going to miss them? Like, is it going to be legitimately a loss to the cognitive capacity of our society, or is this going to be one of those things where, well, we didn't need those people anyway? Like, how cynical do we go with that?
I think what's going to end up happening is so there was already a bust in the stock market over AI, right? That already happened. I think what's going to end up happening is that more and more people are going to be less and less impressed with AI. AI is for a lot of these companies that are doing layoffs for AI. I don't think that it's necessarily like the thing is they're not necessarily replacing the best and their brightest.
Oh, actually, it's funny you mentioned that because there was something I was wanting
to have 100,000 people and they lay off 10,000, and you're like, all right, I can pretty much guarantee that most departments in most companies could lay off 10% of their employees and not replace them with anything, and they'd be okay. Well, because it turns out,
well, I've got something for you on that actually, like specifically on that, and it was just came out like in the last couple of days, just kind of some, not whistleblowers or anything, just some kind of back channel talking, that as a matter of fact, most of these firings that are coming out of these companies, they've been wanting to do this the whole time, and they're just using AI as the cover.
Right. Like I got a guy in my department, right? And I don't want to shit on the guy too much, but he's basically useless. And he's not, it's not that he's unintelligent, he's just fucking lazy. And so he actively doesn't get projects done. He delays things unnecessarily. It's a giant pain in the ass dealing with him on a regular basis.
I'm sure.
I'm not saying that he could be that he could be replaced with AI, but like if he was gone, the suffering the department would have from the loss of that employee is not as big as most people think it to be. And AI, I think, does in fact provide an excuse to fire people who are already pretty much useless.
Oh yeah, we've Yeah, we've made your job redundant with AI or what have you.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's some of the reporting I've actually seen around. Like, there's some talk on that being specifically like they're just well, look at it this way. How many people does Twitter have now? I think less than 50 altogether, and it's running basically as well as it ever has. And before
they dropped it down by 80% right away, and they immediately improved performance, which is hilarious.
Yep.
Well, and the thing is that like a lot of these DEI positions, we mock them ridiculously, but they're damaging on two fronts. One, they're non-value added positions. All of them are, right? And
they're make work.
By spending money, and the thing is that when we spend money on this stuff, we're not spending money on areas that could add value. So you start looking at games, and games, the AAA game studios are really struggling. And you're like, well, why are they struggling? And the answer is because they've chosen to spend money on DEI. And you say, well, why does that make a terrible game? And that's because ultimately they all have a limited budget, right? It's not that they get to just add the DEI money to the good game money and add some DEI stuff in. They are replacing good elements of gaming with DEI stuff. And that's why those games end up sucking.
Yeah, when you build
because it's just stealing that resource.
Hilarious one-to-one correspondence. You don't even need a study. You can just kind of go, yeah, well, that's obvious.
Oh, and just a real quick, that's obvious, as there are potentially attacks and crazy shit going down across America and elsewhere in the world, don't think of this as a reason to hate Iran. Think of this as the reason that we must deport them all. So, there was an attack. He was wearing an I Heart Allah shirt. Cough. Not that literally just happened today.
That happens.
So, don't...
Austin.
So what you do is you say, oh, well, then I guess we need to deport some more. We haven't deported enough yet. Because that's the answer. Once they're gone, the problems go with them. They can take their third world with them. Back to their third world shithole. Where they can enjoy wallowing about in said shit. And not spread it around here. Where we're trying to have a trustful society. Oh, and speaking of bringing your shit over and shitting the place up, we should probably mention what's happened over on Microsoft's official Copilot Discord server.
Oh man, yeah. So actually, I have a way to say this one.
Yeah, well, real quick, if you want to hop in there and get banned, just say microslop.
So I was going to say is their slop is not micro, so I actually agree with them on this. It's very
macro slop, yes, mega,
it's very
perhaps
macro.
even.
Indeed, you could call it gigaslop or even teraslop.
Yeah, absolutely. You would not be you would not be out of turn.
Petaslop, call it petaslop or etaslop. Actually, Zotaslop is probably the bigger one to go with.
Well, you should probably go with petaslop
because so it's fucked up.
Close enough to whatever and Bill Gates and his pal Jeff. Yeah, no.
Oh man, that's one. So you saw the shit that was going on with him and his antibiotics attempts with good old Jeffy Jeff.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
This
already.
Yeah. This guy. He decided.
Loving husband.
He decided that instead of slipping his wife half of his meds, and then calling up the pharmacist and saying like, "Oh, I lost them. I need more." Instead of doing something stupid like that, which is, by the way, smarter than what he did, he decided, you know what? I need to talk to this pedophile island owner and wine bag at him about needing some medicine and have him tell me off. That's what needs to happen. This is the smart way to go about it. I got an STD by fucking some mistress, some prostitute.
Yeah, be clear. I was a prostitute, not a mistress.
It was a prostitute.
He's not enough of a player to actually, get a mistress.
He decided to slut it up a little bit.
It's got high contrast. But it's about cadence, right? I got where these are. I'm deciding that right now we're not doing the baby books.
Oh.
Oh boy. Just the out of context.
Good stuff.
Oh,
just
yes, the rhythm of prostitutes.
Speaking of out of context, I've got something here that I haven't actually seen many people reporting on, and it kind of tracks. This is out of Scott Jennings, or by way of Scott Jennings, I should say. And it was, according to him, he's apparently asked some folks involved. Senior Trump officials have told him that that they had credible intelligence that Iran was preparing to do a preemptive strike, which is what they would have had to do to be able to have the momentum and to win. They would have had to strike first, and they didn't. And,
Iran could not have ever won.
Well, to roll a natural 20 in critical, they would have had to strike first. But
So here's the problem with this thesis. This is like the fucking Minneapolis protesters, right? Like, you might be able to outrun the cop, but you can't outrun the radio. And there's always more cops, right? Like, if you're in Grand Theft Auto and you kill the cops, you cannot kill them all because they keep respawning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not with that attitude. Anyway, in good news, and genuinely good news, the Department of Energy has put out $171 million in grants for geothermal expansion. And I like it. That's a great energy source.
They put out how much in for what?
$171 million in geothermal expansion projects.
So I
geothermal.
I have something to bring up regarding AI, real quick. That was just brought to mind by Sarge, who's been listening to us.
You wrote your thesis in AI?
Oh God, I wish I had that.
But just a real quick, so I can finish the topic up here. It's not for specific anything. It's for testing and resource exploration, so that we might, implement these systems. It's not like, hey, go build this plant. Here's $171 million. It's exploration and such. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. So Sarge brought up, in fact, AI is already replacing some jobs. We mentioned McDonald's order takers. The funny thing is, the place where AI has been taking over the counter clerks at fast food has been in the place where it was obviously going to take over, and that is in places where they have raised the minimum wage to an untenable level and priced the employees out of the market. So, California and other such locations. Other such liberal hellholes, if you will. It's just one of those things. It's been hilarious. Burger King, and a couple others kind of took the cake on this with the way that the AI they tested at the drive-thru was like chronically fucking up. For example, there was the one that allowed you to order. I think the guy ordered like 1,000 cups of water.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Put out the video and then.
Yeah.
And it's like. Sir, hold on one moment. Can I help you? As a real person comes in.
Can I? The Patrisky guy asked for help, and it's like, no.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So he just asked for 1,000 cups of water to force them to get a real person.
No. It's like, yeah, I can do that for you, and it orders him 1,000 cups of water, and then it starts trying to fulfill the order. And what do you? Obviously it got stopped, but it was just like, wow, retarded.
Quite. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you know what else is retarded? This is just it's the dumbest fucking thing, but why not? Because of course, abso-fucking-lutely, of course. So in the private testimony the other day, there's this family, you might have heard of them, the Clintons. They were talking about this guy they knew named Jeff. You probably heard of him too, in some closed doors testimony. The first day, got shut down because
man,
somebody was
do
taking
they know
pictures.
this guy? I'm pretty sure that they know this guy, right?
Well, there's a couple of pictures of them there, and then there's a couple of events that have Secret Service as the actual
Family
security,
events, right?
which
Events?
requires fucking fingerprints. But sure, they say they don't know him, but it doesn't look that way. Anyway, above and beyond all of that, and above and beyond somebody leaking a photo, which, by the way, the leaked photo has been turned into numerous hilarious AI short films. Good
Indeed.
stuff. Anyway, beyond that, Bill Clinton testified under oath. Yes, that was a pertinent pause there. That Trump was not involved with Jeffrey Epstein. Wham. That's it.
Did he really?
Yeah, actually, during the closed door.
All I ended up hearing was that like Hillary went fucking ballistic in a closed door hearing, and they got to the point where like she was being so crazy that the committee decided they're going to release the fucking video of her being fucking weird.
So the one guy left the room, and the reason why he left the room was because Hillary insisted they stop the proceeding. And the guy came out and he just like one of her counsels comes out and announces like, a picture of the meeting had been leaked already. If they're not going to follow the rules and they're not going to proceed, and that was like the announcement.
Well, there you go.
Wait, what?
That like a picture of the proceeding, like from inside the room, had already been posted on Twitter or whatever.
I believe by way of
had it actually?
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a picture of Hillary.
A picture of this secure deposition or whatever, or questioning, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
A closed door session or something.
Pretty much.
Wild. That's whoever did that was either an idiot or a genius.
True, but also just a picture. And when the thing is it was closed door for the words that were being spoken, not for a photo of it. So
true.
It was very funny that she got all pissy and stopped it right there and then.
Well, she was looking for an excuse, but yeah.
Well, again, what are they doing checking social media if they're inside there doing a fucking closed door session?
Also that.
I can't believe that Clinton actually testified that Trump wasn't involved.
It is a funny world in which we find ourselves, sir. A very
I am sure that Hillary would have testified that he is involved.
You would think that.
But then again, Bill and Hillary are very different people, and Bill is, he might like Bill might like his bill getting passed, for lack of euphemisms.
Around.
He likes getting his
passed
bill
around, yeah. The reality is, I think that most people consider him to be a great president, partially because outside of the whole bullshit with the sex thing, he was a relatively honest guy. That being said, Hillary's.
People have said that she
the fact
is,
that he turned around and said that's a surprise. It's just a surprise.
Well, as I said, it's a funny world. Also funny. If you happen to be, I don't know, like one of the heads over Anthropic AI, and you have you got a really sweet deal with Pete Hegseth and the guys over there at the DOW, and then you burn it all down like a fucking idiot. Old dude didn't say I want to use Claude to build Skynet. They just want to use the tool for everything the tool can do. Which, yeah, there is some scary implications there. But it's going to happen one way or the other. As I was telling you earlier, the plan was for all of this shit to just be straight federalized. So,
That's true. They did that did come out that what the hell is that video? The guy said, basically talking with the Biden admin, like they were.
Yeah, Kamala got in. there'd be none of this.
The VCs may as well not invest in startups because they're only going to allow like 2 or 3 companies.
Yeah, like you try and do this, we're going to shut you down. Then that was literally in the interview.
I think that was Andreessen who came out and said that.
That's exactly it.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I included in the links below too for anybody.
He's in an interview. It's a reasonable length interview, and that was just like a 10-minute or 5 to 10 minute segment of it that was posted in a post on X.
Yeah. Yeah, very very illustrative. And so, Anthropic chose to go the way of abortion in the 90s, I guess. So not a single government dollar will now be able to flow to anything that touches Anthropic.
Yeah, they oh god, what the fuck was the use case? Like they were used for Venezuela,
yes.
And they were being used for Iran, and there was something that they were objecting to.
All legal uses.
I think it was Claude that's being used for Iran now.
Nope, no, ChatGPT.
GPT. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
OpenAI took the contract.
They were. Sam Altman was like, "You got it, boss."
Sam Altman, who by the way is building his next data center in the UK, which is stupid as fuck. But
yeah,
I guess he wanted to diversify governments he was investing in. Again, incredibly fucking retarded.
Yeah. And might I remind that Sam Altman has some very serious allegations from his sister that are just kind of sitting out there kind of unaddressed. Also. And he's got that, well, I don't know. Would you call him an ex-employee if he mysteriously died when he was going to do some whistleblowing the next day? I don't know. Old Sam, he's got a big closet. I wonder what all's hiding in there, you know? Real curious. But the real call would have been to go with Grok, because that would have been 1, funny, and 2,
oh man,
pretty good. Because I don't know if either of you guys have access or have tried 4.20.
I do. I have Super Grok because I have Premium Plus, whatever.
4.2 is very solid, and
Grok has been making very good improvements.
Well, 4.2 is what I expect of a computer when I say computer do this thing. Like when I want a Star Trek type of interaction, I can get that from that. Like, Grok, do this thing for me, and it's going to do exactly the thing and not really deviate. To the point of being a little annoying at times, where older versions will do a little bit of inference. This just does what you're asking, and I really like that. It's nice, you know. It's nice to have a thing do what I want it to do. Unlike the FBI, who just does kind of the opposite. On that very note, we should mention, as folks have been looking over all of these here files related to old Jeff, well, it appears that something like 500 terabytes of data disappeared. Now, just so you know, they were able to recover 400 terabytes of that data, but there's 100 terabytes that was hacked.
I think that some of that data probably is not like wholly unreasonable to see gone from the world.
Fair.
I suspect.
Fair, but that said, it was undoubtedly evidence of crimes. Because, long and short, how
many, like, it's one of those things where, 1, the guy's already dead, but 2, like,
maybe.
How many life sentences for child porn how many extra life sentences are you going to tack on there?
Well, the thing is, it's not like he downloaded it, and it's not like he was the main actor in all of them, is the thing, you know?
Yeah, I get that you want to maybe capture someone else, but my point here is, like, let's assume that, by and large, we're not talking about a huge crowd of people. How many times do you need to see the same guy torturing a kid before you shoot him in the head?
That's a fair point. But the thing is, we don't know. We
Well,
don't
we have
have an
AIs that
answer.
can watch this stuff for us,
That's true. You
don't
could do
we?
that. So on the night of the Super Bowl 2023, the SDNY FBI headquarters was hacked at him, and they were only able to recover 400 terabytes of that 500 terabytes that was destroyified.
Now, was any of it exfiltrated?
Well, let me just read off the report here. Around 3:30 p.m. or so, we located the log files and began combing through, which is when we noticed strange IP activity that took place yesterday from 2 IP addresses. The activity included combing through certain files pertaining to the Epstein investigation. So, yes, absolutely. If they were read, the only way you can read a file is by getting it. So, there you go. Anyway, I reached out to one of the case agents to see if they were in the office yesterday, thinking that maybe they inadvertently changed a setting on the NAS or if they noticed anything strange about them. Around 4:40, around 4 to 4:30 p.m., we dove into the IPs and checked all the computers to see which had the IPs in question. One computer, our Discovery computer, matched one of them and is located in a room next to the lab. The other IP is one we don't recognize, but is the same address as the IP sun on our network, leading us to believe that it was a computer that was attached to our network somehow. We're not able to identify the computer, but it had to have access to our network either by being plugged into the network or possibly by telnetting in virtually. So there you go. So they got some portion of that 500 terabytes of data was exfiltrated.
That's a lot of dolphin porn, man.
Or case files,
Or not.
or money, or transfer. Well, not
I mean,
money, but like
it's one of those things where, like, how many times are you going to? Anyway. What I'm hoping is that somebody realizes they can do facial recognition capture on video without having to look at it,
but the best,
and
the best,
they'll just scroll through and then delete stuff at some point, possibly, maybe, hopefully.
So the best part of this here, the best part here, Spivak, the agent who discovered this, let me see here, Special Agent Aaron Spivak, made the breach known here by way of reporting through justice.gov. I'll have a link to this close ID TV thing. It's got links to everything. But with that, Spivak said that he was instructed to, quote, Google how to recover the data, end quote, and receive little additional support from the Bureau. That's it. Well, Google how to recover the data. And he was able to recover at least... So, yeah. Real... Boy, you know, I'm not saying it's a cover-up, but if you were trying to do a cover-up, you'd kind of do exactly that. But hey, you know, it is what it is. Speaking of cover-ups, we've got an update out of the Los Angeles Fire Department, and a whistleblower related there too. So, let me see, who was the guy? Scott Pike, 23-year vet, put out sworn testimony that the Lockman fire, that would be the initial fire that they that were sent out to, that then grew up into the giant one that destroyed fucking everything, the Palisades fire. And that's the one that we reported on, that they were there at the time, and then I think federal authorities or like Parks and Rec or somebody, another department came out and were like, we got this. Anyway, so
speaking of the Palisades, like, they've been having issues out there.
True. Well, real quickly,
yeah, like they're getting anyway, they're getting like tickets for having brush on their property when they don't have anything living on their property. You know, all the brush is long since dead.
Oh yeah, and the fact that it's already going to smart city designers and public housing and all this shit. Yeah, no, not like we didn't already know this shit was coming. Anyway. Scott Pike here, he said basically that he went His testimony was that the Lockman fire was not extinguished, and that when he tried to bring it up, it was ignored. They didn't care. And this was just before the Palisades fire took off and destroyed a shitload of Southern California. And then, well, there's a bunch in here. It's a thread of interviews with these guys, so you can just listen for yourself. And I'll just actually, you know what? In case you're curious, I'll throw that in the staff chat there if you want to share that with anybody. But it'll be in the Showlinks as well.
1:53 a.m. I did not realize.
It is that, so that's why I'm trying to kind of get our stories that have got worthwhile and good news out while we can. So let me see here. I know I've got a. Oh, right. So, as we were talking, Clinton was deposed on the 27th. 26th was Hillary. So they
wholly deposed had the correct meaning there.
Yeah, well, they ordered lunch, and I don't know who was responsible for the menu, but I salute you for.
What did it have on it? Hillary Clinton killed people?
Oh no, they ordered pizzas.
Was there Arkansas burgers?
No, pizzas. Pizza for everyone.
Cheese pizza?
I hope beyond hope that it was all cheese pizzas. That would be the funniest fucking thing ever. I don't know, but I do know that they ordered pizza for everyone.
I have to ask though.
Really funny.
I have to ask and presume. Were these all pizzas from Comet Pizza?
That's I can't tell from the logo, but I don't see the red rocket of Comet Ping Pong. Thank God.
It would just be like the icing on the cake is if
that would be.
Oh my God! I just like there's only so many things that are just like picturesque, perfect, hilarious. That is shit a comedian would have trouble writing.
Yeah, they would. They absolutely would. But here we are.
It shows up and it's got photographs in it of Hillary Clinton on Epstein Island.
Right.
That'd be very Mr. Bean coded there.
Oh, speaking of Mr. Bean coded, speaking specifically of that, there was a big list of Bohemian Grove members, and oh man, speaking of lame, how would you feel if you were supposed to be in this big exclusive club of all these muckety mucks, and you're in there with Conan O'Brien? Really? And Paul Pelosi? What? Come on. Lame-o. But that's just kind of funny. But, funnies aside, let me see here. We've got okay. Well, before we get to the closing out the night with the good news, let's hop over to the we need to be aware. We need to be very aware because for 4 years we didn't have a border, really. We had a border that was instructed to be opened at every available opportunity to every available person coming through, which means some Iranians made it through. Period. Are they good Iranians? Are they bad Iranians? I don't know.
Actually, we do know for some of them.
Oh, we do know for some of them.
Are they irate Iranians?
That's another good question.
Oddly enough, yes, they are. They are particularly irate Iranians. And the fact that we know that they got through is a big problem because that also means we should know where they are if we had a competent intelligence system at the time, which we didn't. So, well, we'll see.
So
I would expect them to come around and try to do some dumb shit during 9/11 or Christmas or New Year's, or to just do something around July 4th for the 250th.
Or
in fact, I expect that would be a very significant one.
Who even knows? Or Bombathon or any of anything. But
well, it is Ramadan, and as I said to Bess, in DMs earlier.
I found out
Finally,
that
it's the
they
Ramadan
basically eat.
Ramadan. They're going the right direction.
Oh yeah, no, they
I
gorge
found out that
themselves at night in the
Ramadan
morning.
is not as much of like what we Westerners think of like a holy
you thought it was
holiday where
Oh
you're
yeah,
supposed to.
they fast
Yeah.
less than I do, and I do this shit every day.
They fast for 12 hours. They eat a
I
really
fast
big,
16
beautiful
hours
breakfast.
every single fucking day, and I have for years. And these motherfuckers are like,
funniest part
Ramadan,
is
I'm going to
time-
skip lunch. Motherfucker.
It's the funniest thing because during Ramadan, most Muslims gain weight.
Yeah, because they gorge at night and in the morning. It's like have a fucking giant meal at night, a bunch of snacks, and then a huge breakfast. And then it's like...
Oftentimes they eat like we do. Imagine a month of fucking Thanksgiving meals twice a day.
Wow. Yeah, I was surprised to find that out.
If you ever wonder like why Bahrain has a weight problem, it's because they got American food in a country where for a month they eat like Thanksgiving twice a day.
Yeah.
I just imagine doing that, like gorging on McDonald's twice a day. That would fuck a guy up.
That's wild.
Yeah, I mean...
That's fucking wild.
That's the Bahrain diabetes problem in a nutshell. They have McDonald's and Burger King and Pizza Hut.
Yeah, and lots of money because they have lots of oil. So
and lots of money.
So yeah, and they got Dubai chocolates. Bop.
Oh, dude, but Dubai chocolates are great.
Okay,
you know what Dubai chocolate
means? Before I get back into what I was talking about, you know the story, right?
You know why they chose to propagandize with Dubai chocolate, right? You know why? You know what the colloquialism used to mean?
I do not.
It's all the OF girls and E girls they bring over there to shit on, like literally poop on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dubai chocolate was a term that was known amongst American and European female models for quite literally
go to Dubai and make $100,000 getting shat on by a Dubai person.
Yep. So you go over there, you get some Dubai chocolate, you make a lot of money, and you tell no one of it. And then, that's not what happened.
And so they decided
people learned of Dubai chocolate, and the popular theory is that the very wealthy folks of Dubai didn't really care for that image getting out there, and so they decided to make a pistachio cream.
They stole a Eastern European, an Armenian, if you will, recipe for chocolates. Yeah, because they use a lot of pistachio in their treats.
And to be fair,
so
it's a lovely
pistachio chocolate mix. It's very delicious.
But yeah,
but they just repurposed a known recipe of a thing.
And that's why you had so many influencers that were out there. They were getting paid for this shit. Like they were getting sent in boxes of shit.
They got paid a good amount
of money. And like, hey, just review the chocolate. If you don't like it, that's fine. If you like it, that's fine. Because it doesn't matter. Because it's SEO. Bury in the lead. You search for Dubai chocolate, all you're going to find is chocolates with pistachio, not chocolate with corn.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a funny old world.
That's actually really a thing.
Yeah.
Dubai chocolate was getting shat on by...
you know what? Like, every single time I learn one of these things, it just pisses me off that I was born a guy. Like, I would take that money.
A lot of people
and I wouldn't be ashamed of it either. Like it's not even like how could you take that money? Of course you take that money.
I mean, to be fair, Mike Rowe did. Mike Rowe had that happen to him a couple times, and he was probably not making as many.
Yeah, like
100,000 at least in the first season.
Such a different kind of dirty job.
Yes. Oh man.
Like I mean, like if I was a chick, I would totally spread my legs and be like, shit right in the hole, man. Shit right in the hole. Like, yeah, you're gonna have a doctor's visit. It's gonna suck. There's gonna be a period of time, but like, $100,000 for that? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, there you
go. All day
so
long and twice on Sunday.
Here's the dark side of it. When you show up there, they take your passport, and so a lot of them become basically slaves.
Yeah, sometimes you don't get to leave.
And it's the ones that have family members who follow up that get sent back.
Yeah. So it's you need some representation, as it were.
So the question here is, which ones are going to have fathers and mothers that are proud of them enough to know that they have their OnlyFans page.
Oh, I think that if I turned around and I was like, "Hey, guess what? I'm gonna get shit on for like a day or two."
Yeah, I'm gonna become a Sheik's toilet for a week and a half, and get $100,000 for it.
And get $100,000 for it. Like, and I'm not saying that my mother would be proud, because she wouldn't be. But
that's good.
I think that my father would understand.
Steve, the next time you have an opportunity to ask family
you should actually get some clarification on that.
I'm just saying, right? Like,
this is one of those things you ask a brother.
I tell you, right? Like, I'm fat, and I know I'm fat, and I know I need to lose weight, and I actually do pretty well with my exercise and all that stuff. It's just I really like food.
OnlyFans, so you know.
I like food, but like, I can tell you straight up, if I was a girl, I am symmetrical enough. I am like, I have got a nice enough face that I would absolutely.
Okay, Buffalo Bill, we get it.
I would absolutely fucking do that.
We know, we get you, Buffalo Bill, we get you.
But like, yeah, I would absolutely be rocking that shit.
Dude, you'd be the one who's out there with the Down syndrome filter on and everything, wouldn't you?
Oh, dude, right. I would be whatever, like AI agents. I'd be like, hey, here's a video of me. Make me look like a tard.
At Grok, make me look like I've got,
bikini. Whatever. Yeah.
Oh my god,
seriously.
That was the funniest fucking thing, and it was like sickening, but it was also like, wow, people are desperate for novelty in their life.
Yes.
If they're going for the FAS Down syndrome face, and that's like the in thing.
We
it's kind of like
live in interesting times.
But like seriously, there would be a whole different I don't mind exercise as long as it's, something competitive and all the other stuff. But there's a whole different thing when it comes to diet, when it's actually like paying your bills.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and women can make so much more money for so much less effort if they just eat smaller portions, right? Like, and that's not to say you don't have a cheat day, but like you'll have a cheat day in a month, right? Like, Saturday the 15th or whatever, you go hog wild. You go to that buffet and you destroy it like your pussy's getting destroyed on the first. But like, seriously, it's so unfair. So fucking unfair.
So they say.
Like all of these feminists want to be like, oh, male positions this, male positions that. I want to be like, hey,
ladies,
bitch, when
Steve
I can sit
just
there
wants
and get
to
paid
sell
to
his
get
body.
Fucked,
why are you making it so hard for him?
When I can get paid to get fucked, then I'm going to be impressed about the fact that there's fewer of you that are engineers. Like, until such time as I get paid to get laid.
The HIV is worth it.
Oh, they got prep for that.
There you go.
Anyway.
The solution.
Well, let's just assume we're talking HIV. About preparedness and get back on topic, because I don't want to entertain that otherwise. So
you're not happy with the chocolatey goodness going on here.
I'm just saying
we
that
already
it's
got
a
into
hell of
the
a lot
Dubai
better
chocolate. I don't
opportunity.
think we need to.
Like, I doubt the chick who's getting shit on in Dubai, getting her nice toasty warm Dubai chocolate, right? Like, let's be honest about it for a minute. She's not working 10 hours a day, right? There's like 4 times a day,
that.
maybe.
You don't know that?
I mean, the guy could rent her out.
Yeah, you really don't. Oh, okay. Well, hold on. We actually have to get into that too.
We're now entering the economics of Dubai chocolate.
Fucking might as well, because if we don't talk about it now, there's not going to be a more appropriate time. That being, unfortunately, a bunch of British girls who were raped and taken into sexual slavery were moved out of Britain. And we don't know where they are. They're just slaves.
What?
They're just slaves somewhere in the world. The rape gangs, they didn't just leave them all there. They smuggled some out.
How many?
Don't know.
Like, yeah, but we gotta be able to put a range on it, right? Like, is it Is
How
it
many
like
zeros how
12
many
or
digits?
is it like, yeah, exactly. How many zeros are at the end of this number?
Well, considering it was at least 15,000, I would say that there's at least 2 zeros and probably 3.
That sucks.
That sucks.
Sounds like a reason they should just like flatten Pakistan.
Well,
Yay,
Afghanistan's trying.
feminism.
You know, that's the funny thing, isn't it? The feminists are the ones who would be arguing for keeping Pakistan safe. Like kind of like what's going right now with Iran.
Yep.
Code Pink. The feminoids of the century are really on top of that whole anti-Iran war thing. Hands off Iran. Code Pink.
So yeah, I'll throw a link to Rupert Lowe's tweet about this that he just kind of goes into it. Let me see if he states any of the numbers in here.
Oh, man.
Nope. Oh, right, because they basically just buried everything, so they might not even have a set of numbers. Because from what he's saying
There's
here,
always
they didn't even
a set of numbers.
Well, according to the information, none of this data was collected. I very sincerely hope that someone has it, but if they don't, then Restore is going to have to get in and get that data because it must be had, and those girls must be found and restored to their homes if it's possible. If it's not fucking too late.
You know, it's just, this is one of those things that really, the sad part about this is that, you know, we can sit there and we can talk shit about liberalism all the time. And don't get me wrong, I believe in personal freedom and all that, but this is where this is the problem that you have with like racism, right? Versus like race realism or anything else. You could call people racist, but like, I would much rather be called a racist and not be dealing with rapists than to be sitting there and be like, well, I guess it's, you know, if I had a daughter, yeah, well, I guess, you know, that's just the way the fucking third world is. No, motherfucker. Like, that's the sad part. That's the sad part is that the left has put us in a position where the choice is accept our kids get raped or
at best
be
even
called a mean name. And that's also
there's
like when you
your
turn
pick.
around and look at
Do you
Restore
want to
Britain,
sacrifice your literal family and your future, or
right.
you could get called a mean name?
Why do you think Restore Britain came out as hard as it is? And Asmongold's pretty good about this, right? He talked about this a long time ago. He said, you know, he said that basically this is a progression. The longer it goes that they keep on covering this shit up, the longer that they go without sitting there and dealing with it, it starts changing the message from, hey, let's have a reasonable, nice discussion to no, like, you know, if you make reasonable discourse impossible, it makes unreasonable discourse inevitable. And that's what's going to end up happening, right? If they don't allow Restore Britain to come in and like the UKIP, right? Mm-hmm. UKIP came in, UKIP fell flat. They had a whole bunch of people. They let themselves get fucked. The UK actively fucked them. A lot of people in the EU got fucked that were on the right side, like Marie Le Pen and all the other stuff. Well, guess what? Mm-hmm. The consequence of UKIP failing to enact its own reforms is Restore Britain, right? That's the consequence. If France fails to successfully elect a Marie Le Pen, the next thing that comes behind her is going to be far worse because ultimately this is a real problem. And by the way, like the same thing's true in the U.S., right? I think thank God. We got Trump, right? We got Trump, but Trump's not going very hard, right? There's a lot of people who want him to go harder. Yes, and yes, the left is very, very upset about that. And I think that Trump is the happy medium.
Oh yeah,
I think Restore Britain might be a little bit further to the right than I am in terms of a lot of these policies, and Trump might be a little bit too far to the left of where I am on these policies. But like, ultimately, if you don't take and accept and allow Trump to do his thing, the consequences who comes behind Trump is going to be harder. And I think the beauty of the Trump era, right? So we have two people that are really in the lead for the Republican candidate, and that's Marco Rubio and JD Vance, right?
Oh,
They're
man,
the
Rubio
lead candidate.
He
Been.
I think a Vance Rubio ticket would fucking steamroll right now.
It would
Today?
absolutely. Like Rubio.
Just
The
prepare
memes
him
about
for president
Rubio
and everything.
is that Rubio, when Iran fully falls, it's going to be Rubio's responsibility. Trump is going to put him in fucking charge of it, and so
He's gonna have
so it's
yet
going to
another
be
country to
like
run.
literally, when they turn around and try to sit there and ping Rubio or whatever the fuck it is they're going to be doing, the memes are going to write themselves. It's going to be, here's this man, leader of the free world, ruler of the rest of the world. Right? That's going to be the meme.
Yeah.
Right?
Rubio smacks him. His little Rubio is no more.
Yeah. And I think, to be honest, I think JD Vance will take a back seat to Rubio. I think Rubio is a stronger candidate right now. And I think that's what Trump's done, right? Well, Trump is attempting to hand JD Vance some stuff, but Rubio has clearly emerged in Trump's cabinet as his favored guy for political leadership because he's fucking dominating. And ultimately, when in the 2016 election, Rubio was closer to the center or much more moderate than Trump, I don't think that's Rubio's actual position. And I think that if we turn around and if they don't allow Trump to win, I think Rubio might come out harder.
We're going to hand Rubio Cuba. That's what's going to happen.
I'd be willing to bet you that before Trump's term is done, Thomas or Alito, one of those guys is going to be retiring soon, right?
Yeah.
They will be replaced with Ted Cruz. Yeah, they're going to replace one of those guys with Ted Cruz.
Oh, isn't he from Israel?
That's going to be a rough fucking Supreme Court for the left.
I bet.
If Thomas puts in his resignation, I guarantee you it's going to be Ted Cruz will be taking Thomas's spot. And that'll be a long, hard haul. If Thomas and Alito both had to go, he'll probably have to pull from someone in field. But like,
I just killed a guy in game. His name is Your Mom Goes to College.
Sorry, yeah. Like I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's again, if you make rational discourse impossible, unreasonable discourse becomes inevitable.
I think making, dude, just him on SCOTUS, what's his name over in Israel, as our ambassador right now, like he might come back and start starting the Senate again. You know, there is a good power team that is like built up, and the cream has risen. It's going to be one of those decades.
Oh, speaking of which, I've got a great piece of news. As a matter of fact, speaking of the cream rising to the top, Albania, until recently,
already the cream rising to the top.
Absolutely, and we're going straight to Albania. We are. Yeah, because up until just recently,
unlike the Albanians,
Islam was the largest and fastest growing religion in Albania.
True.
It is not anymore.
Oh, what happened?
The Muslim population has dropped below 50% for the first time in literal centuries.
Wow. So who's there instead?
Oh,
and was this by attrition or by migration or by conversion?
Let me see if it's got a note in here. Muslim count population dropped to 45.7%. Clear departure. Doesn't really say much about the census data. This is out of Turkey today, but fascinating. And demographic shifts mirror general patterns and changes with Albanian society. Young individuals looking for better population or possibilities elsewhere. No, not a lot of data. Oh, okay. Orthodox Christianity is expanding. Okay, that's Cool. I like it. That's
All right.
that's back to the Middle Ages right there.
It's better than fucking Islam.
Yes. Correcto. But
I'll say this, between the Muslim radicals and the Christian radicals, as far as which one was worse for Jews, it's the fucking Muslims.
oh yeah. You're gonna get killed.
Like
way deader.
if there was a choice to be made there.
You are gonna get killed way deader, and there's gonna be like torture and shit too. Like you.
Yeah, I'd rather just like be killed like immediately.
Yeah, if if you got the choice, you're gonna much better to take the one that's gonna
firing lines,
Well, I mean, given the choice, the one's gonna actually be pretty merciful. Honestly, might even let you go. The other is like,
Well, for the one, I just go like Hail Mary and shit, and I guess I'll just be a secret Jew for a while. The other one's like, yeah, well, you were a Jew once, bang.
Well, you can always pay the jizya.
Like one is an original sin you cannot escape from, and the other one is like, yeah, well, he converted, so what's the problem?
Well, yeah, like I said, there's always the jizya, but if they're collecting,
Well, yeah, but
if they're not in a collecting mood, well, that's another matter.
You only do jizya with the Christians because then at least you're not dying alone.
Well, anyway.
Well, keep in mind that the fashion of wearing a leather belt is because of Islam, because that's what the dhimmis had to do.
Well,
you had to wear your pants with a belt.
Anyway,
and Christians had to wear a cross, and Jews had to wear a yellow star on their fucking chest or shoulder. You guys had to wear. Everybody got you get your necklace that says "I'm allowed to live this month." You have to pay your taxes to get it.
Well,
it's funny stuff, isn't it?
Well, anyway, speaking of, well, I don't know. It would be a very, very crude segue. So we'll just keep it classy here on the Fake Untitled podcast, and we'll just transit over to Harvey Levin. Speaking of class, that would be the founder of TMZ, if you're not at all familiar, and he is he's doing his thing. He has traditionally been kind of against the King of Pop, old Michael Jackson, because in his later days, rumored, mind, and nothing we can do with rumors these days. It's been too long out, and nothing's happened with any of it. But the rumor was that he was working on exposing some of the things that have, in the past 2 months, been exposed and made completely knowledgeable to the public. So, anyway, there was an interview that was done. Was it an interview or a biography? Oh, one or the other. And what happened is in that, Evan Chandler, who was in the interview, he admitted to drugging Jordan Chandler to get a false confession. This is the one where the kid that was like, he touched me and all that. And so Harvey Levin did this interview, apparently many years back, 1993, and he won't release it. And he wouldn't release it at the time. And he wouldn't release it when requested by Mike's attorneys. So, anyway, let me just read from this here. What's more, TMZ founder Harvey Levin is said to have interviewed Evan when he was a reporter at KCBS-TV, where Evan is said to have admitted that Jordan's confession was made under a drug. The attempts to obtain the footage have been unsuccessful, and they still refuse to release it out of KCBS or the man himself, unsurprisingly. So, that's it. There's, again, another, I don't have more to tell you, but boy, things are really weird around Michael Jackson. And it looks like maybe a man who was denied his childhood, maybe a man who had every bit of his childhood ripped away from him and was abused by the people around him, maybe he didn't want that to happen to anyone else. That does happen every now and then. And as the days pass, it looks more and more like that's what Michael was trying to do. And then his notorious doctor had a whoops situation. But That's all we got. It was a whoops. Was it a Jeffrey Epstein style whoops? Who can say? Who can say? But there was a whoops there. Okay. Anyway, moving on to good news. I already told you that Kai is still here. Blessed. Mind you, still from from the couch to the TV. Kaya will be free.
The doggo will be free.
All right. So we've got some great news out of Russia. Putin has signaled willingness to accept the security guarantees that have been provided by the USA, Ukraine, and this is out of the Sunday Times.
Yeah, he has. Because apparently it's pretty nice if you can get the security guarantee, isn't it?
Well, if you meet the requisites and you're not like, nah, fam, I don't like that, then... it's like if you make an agreement and you stick to it, it seems like they stick. I'm not going to lie. But if you waver or you quaver, you might not, you might find yourself with a less agreeable agreement. So, yeah.
It's good to have a good agreement.
It definitely is, As they say, good fences make good neighbors.
Oh, they make great neighbors.
They do. They do. So let me think. Was there anything else I was wanting to hit here on? Yeah, not really. I was able to hit a lot of the. An interesting fact out of the Telegraph. I'll just read you off the headline, but the headline's enough because it's perfect. Lab-grown meat up to 25 times more costly for environment than beef.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, unsurprisingly.
That is a no-brainer.
You're going to have to use a lot of resources to make that meat.
I would challenge anyone to prove otherwise. The fact is, Mother Nature is very good at making efficient meat producers. But
and all the complaints about how the cows are taking in this much water and this much feed and all that. Well, that's the thing. You put them on grass and hay. And instead of they are taking in all that water that rained on the grass, that rained on the hay, that rained on the alfalfa. Yeah, that grass. Oh, you mean the stuff that you were going to send out your lawnmower to mow down and then throw into a landfill? That stuff? Yeah. Huh. Well, anyway, the topic we were talking about before we got a little sidetracked because... Yeah, things are crazy.
Over here.
Things are crazy in the world today. A lot of millions of, we don't know where the fuck they're from, but we do know that they're fighting age men. Came in from every single American border and more still. So.
They came in by the butthole surfers.
So, I'll just read off what this fella that's in this article. It's a good little article on just some kind of things you need to consider. But I'll read off his everyday carry. And if you don't have yourself an everyday carry, you need one. You especially need one at least for about the next year while things are going to be a little crazy. So.
A little more hectic, yeah.
They are. And he's got a good recommendation here. He carries a PSA dagger. If you're not familiar, it's a Glock 3rd generation clone out of Palmetto State Armory. They are currently on sale, actually. But by the time you hear this, they may not be anymore. Either way, they're a very inexpensive, very reasonable, very reliable pistol. He says he's got a basic trauma kit, good call, tourniquet, chest seals, packing gauze. You can buy, there's any number of places that have got excellent kits. You do want to have a tourniquet, and you do want to have some sort of chest seal. Another one I would personally recommend is something like Quick Clot or something similar. Because... beyond, you might get a blowout shot or something. You might get a bad cut. You might fall and get like a nail through your hand or some shit, and you got to deal with that. So have some Quick Clot and have for something a little lesser. But if you got a tourniquet, a chest seal, some gauze, and some super glue, don't use your super glue on your deep wounds. You probably can. But probably's not good for medicine, so don't.
I've just recently been there. I just recently almost took the tip off my left middle finger because I'm a fucking idiot.
Perfect use case.
I super glued that fucker back together. That's exactly
you
what I did.
flip that thing back over, you put it in place, you glob a goop right on top and just smear it in place.
I was cutting some printed plastic parts apart, and because I was an idiot, I ended up cutting towards myself, which you can imagine. Great idea. Had a one of those wonderful zip pocket razors that I was using, the pen style, and
Sliced your
finally
right up.
got through the piece of plastic I was trying to get through and proceeded directly into the front of my finger.
That'll do her.
In plane with the nail, but slightly below it, and went straight in towards the bone.
Shoo. Yeah, that's
Lovely feeling.
That'll do it.
Super glue to the rescue, man. God damn, that helped.
Carry
I'm slowly getting feeling back, which is great.
And that's the other thing.
The fact that I didn't have to go and get surgery or like get fucking stitches.
Yeah.
Spectacular.
Well, and that is the other thing. If you can get to relatively minor wounds very quickly, even at full middle age or above, your body can heal a lot. But you have to get things fast, and you need to clean them out.
In the words of the master at the Ninja Dojo from the movie Ninja, focus on healing.
Right. So anyway, beyond the trauma kit, also guy says spare mags. Yes, the number that you want to have. Gonna sound unreasonable, but the number you want to have is 5. Realistically, carry 1 at least, or an extendo. That's my that's what I say. So in his go bag, let's see here. He's got a fanny pack style.
So speaking of extra magazines,
in which he carries 4 extra mags. There you go.
That says to tell Steve to buy chocolate cupcakes at Sam's Club. That they're the best.
They also have Dubai mochi.
Ooh.
Which is
interesting.
Oh man, it's really good.
I just call it pistachio mochi, so you don't have to include that bullshit.
Yeah, they are absolutely lovely treats. But
it sounds good. Pistachio treats are amazing.
Mm-hmm. No, pistachios are amazing. So in the
dude,
go back.
Pistachio is amazing.
Yes.
Pistachio hazelnut chocolate would be fucking amazing.
Probably.
Get someone on that shit.
Probably.
All right. Anywho, I'm trying to get through something.
Yeah. In your go bag, what he's got, extra trauma gear, which that would be the kind of things we're talking about there. Like you're going to have your tourniquet and your blowout kit and like your quick clot and your claws right there ready to go.
Not that kind of blowout, Steve.
Yeah. A few extra pistol mags, emergency cash, a power bank, and
I haven't
phone
had
cable.
too many of those actually.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
I'm sure they'll come. They do happen. Like all of a sudden,
I wish few and far between to you.
So, you'll also want to check dhs.gov/NTAS, National Terrorism Advisory System, which will give you any outstanding and current advisories related thereto. So, I think that's not a bad place to close it out. I'd like to have some really uplifting, cool story, but, you know.
Oh, this is a long one.
The world is a little bit scary, a little bit... No. John Bolton sucks. That's what we're going to close with. Fuck John Bolton. Hey. Fuck that fucking guy.
We're finally landing on the other foot from Iran-Contra, aren't we?
Man, I do not like that guy, and I am even more unhappy that he is happy right now. Anyway, everybody, been a pleasure, an absolute pleasure sharing the show with you, sharing this little bit more the nuance that I know has been missed everywhere. So, I hope it's been helpful. Thank you for listening. Make sure and share this show around with everybody. You can find Craig there at CraigBob99. You can find Steve at Ratman720. And I'm Evan. You can find me at That Fake Guy Dan. Again, absolute pleasure, fellas, having you here. Back again next week after another 1,000 years of stuff has happened and we carefully pick through some of the worthwhile topics. But anyhow, again, everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Share the show around with everybody. Make sure you're subscribed. Leave the comments. Do the things. What are you doing? We'll see you soon.